Them sheets.
It is so few small moments before our official hard starts. And yet we are all gathered here successfully in advance. So, as always, as heartfeltly as I always intend, mean, and feel, thank you all for being here. This hobby isn't easy. It is an investment of time, effort, energies, and oftentimes, like those good or absolutely horrible conversations we have in the real world, hours, days, minutes, weeks later even, the adventures of these characters and the other characters that we have the opportunity of experiencing and exploring the lives of will come back and ponder the live moments, some song, some poem, some TV show or movie, some character or some scene we are in the witness of will remind us of the adventures of these and other characters that we have the chance of playing. It sticks with us. And by extension, and all the more valuable for it, your efforts as players, partakers, audience members, and cast.
How we doing? Welcome back to the game.
With us.
And for those of you in the back who didn't get it the first time, my name is Nobody. I'm your storyteller for the evening. This is officially, without a shadow of a doubt,
and part of my thing,
The Dark of Bethany.
I very rarely bother to explain.
Season 3,
for that moment,
episode
even when
3.
You guys aren't here, even
picking up from where we left last episode.
The oddest,
seconds
most
from when the coterie,
unexpected
their
moments,
attempt to reroute themselves
joy,
somewhere safe,
sadness,
after the
happiness, and all
following
the
demise
feelings
of their
you
former
all are
coterie
able to elicit through the voices and
arrive at
lives
the
of your
truck stop
characters.
at the Oasis,
Stay
at the
with
halfway point between the two
So
locations.
thank you for the experiences.
Victim in hand, we dive into the night in question,
without
starting in
much
alphabetical
further ado,
order. This is officially, without a shadow of a doubt, one hungry,
more
barking
into the
mad
breach
dog.
with all the feelings we can muster. For those in the back
So
who
with
didn't
Victim
hear
in
it the
hand,
first
Annabelle,
time,
where
this is without a
does that
shadow of a doubt
leave
the Dark of Bethany, season
That leaves me.
3 finale.
Oh,
Common
I remember
kinsmen,
what we were doing.
special
We were
foes.
bringing this victim.
Unlike usual,
to try
normally
to
I have a
feed
small bit of a monologue or an
gooey
inclination or
man
an
in the back
explication
of
as
the
to
truck.
what led us to where we are now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
This time,
The gooey man.
as we prepare to leap
The
into
gooey
all
man.
of that gaping gorge
So she
of
just
conflicted
she
emotions,
comes back with this guy.
experiences, and agendas. You all
And
will tell
and
me
she's like, "Hey, you guys,
and all of the
ready
other
for this
players
party?"
where you are and how you
Yeah.
got there. Starting with
We doing this here?
Annabelle.
Shh. Looks to
Oh, and
everybody
why,
else.
if she can figure it out, is she exactly where we
Probably
are
not
now?
smart.
Well, yeah, let's I may or may not have actually I think we parked in a private kind of because of area, shiny, which is why I had to bring this guy back here. And it turned out to be a bad idea. Let's see. Convinced them that our car was broken down and we needed help. Are any ideas truly bad? I don't think so. Maybe. Then we're gonna go with that. Y'all came for me, which was rather. Yeah. Now I'm mixing up like three different things in my head. And I'm like, did I do that this time? Last time? So let's see. This guy isn't gonna live, right? So we can just stab him.
Do we need
Come back.
to kill him?
I don't know. Are you guys hungry? This is clearly a conversation we had before this happened.
That's a good place to start. That's a good place to
Be
act
very
as a
awkward to
catalyst
have
for
this
where
in
we
front
are.
of him.
Yeah, no.
It's a good catalyst
That's
for
not
what's going
yeah.
through Annabelle's mind.
So
Speaking of
Annabelle's not
catalysts and how
hungry.
we got where we are and where we are,
I'm
But-
hungry, but it's not going to drive me insane.
Well, you don't need hunger to drive you insane.
Was focused on trying to get the frat
I'm
boys
funny.
to take their homeboys to
We
the
had
hospital so that he
come to the
doesn't have to
conclusion that
continue
he was
to be low on blood and
behaving
pass away.
strangely for somebody that was sober, but for the most part, we couldn't tell for sure, and all we could do was try to rouse him and see if it worked. But we're kind of leaning towards he's possibly gone.
All right. Let's say that we brought a glass from your house, India. So I'm gonna like
a chain
so if
of
nobody else is like
unfortunate
super
events
hungry
this evening.
then I'm gonna like
that started
take this guy
not being
kind
able
of
to
off to the
succeed.
side
Well,
while
no,
he's
started
you know,
with
like
people
open
being dropped off at our
the hood of the car, you know,
safety
when he starts
place,
looking in, I just
and
kind of
then
like
we
lean in
couldn't
behind him and
kidnap
bite him on
somebody
the neck.
properly without running into an angry
And,
Nosferatu, and
and I
then we
kind
went
of
to
do this
Joji's
half
house that
bite,
got lit on
so
fire,
he's
and then
bleeding into this glass
we
while
went
still
looking for
being
help
like
and ended up at
really,
this freak off party.
really into this.
Oh yes.
So like he doesn't notice what's going on.
And Joji.
And then I'll like hand off the glass before I lick the wound closed.
Well, since she's given something of a accounting of actions, I'll go for a more ephemeral understanding of how I got here.
That is quite the
And
feat
my
of
understanding as to how
physical
Joji
subterfuge. Would
got
you be
to
so
where
kind as to go
he
ahead
is
and roll your
now
dexterity plus
is because of
subterfuge
trust and the
contested
violation
in this
of
particular
that.
case? As
He
luring him in for a
trusted in his
kiss, well,
friends,
I'll be perfectly honest, most men are in
and that
fact
led
very much
to
pigs,
the
so
events
that's a little easy.
of the
But
carnival.
pulling off the bite,
He
the
trusted
emptying of a
in
vein,
the infrastructure
and the
of
passing
the
it all off
Kinsmen
without their
pockets,
notice is another matter
and
entirely.
it,
Yep.
well,
So I am
it
using
led him to
lingering kiss on
Shreveport.
him.
Oh, he trusted in the
So,
security of his home, and that led him
he's
here,
gonna be extra out
where
of it.
his current trust of the
Um,
Kennedy man and
let's
his
see,
wits
Dex plus subterfuge.
has, well, we've yet to see how that's going to come about. But suffice to say, Joji is finding it, and has found it, surprisingly
I got one.
hard to make an investment of trust that actually gains interest. Oh,
I'm not very
yeah,
dexterous.
it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Trust.
That's
a heady 5-letter word.
It's fine. It's fine.
And it, like everything else,
he
has its
notices
cost.
a little bit, just barely.
So as you all are, India, Joji, Lita, as you all are resting, hiding, skulking, present near enough at hand to be of some assistance, as Annabelle's victim begins to freak the fuck out. Elucidate. Because, you know, a little strange, a little dirty by this roadside with added benefits is all fine and good, but where the fuck is the jelly glass for? What are you doing? Hold on, wait. I ain't got no plans to be nobody's baby daddy years from now. And he's literally freaking out. Not to the point where he's physically pushing her away, but holding her at arm's distance, like trying to figure out what the fuck is the cup for. Why the whole look? I don't know what. Like this is just. It's just so very, very. It is a comedy of errors. It is the
post-nut clarity hitting before the nut actually happened. It is the very real confusion, and I can't hit a girl, but I feel like I'm oh god, and it is that stumbling, stammering, not into this any longer because now there's something out of left field that doesn't seem or feel right. A quick hookup. He didn't mind whether you were, a guy or a girl or any step in between. That was all fine and good. A little dirty, strange, but why do we have a Welch's jelly glass?
It goes without saying that
this
blame, that
like maybe I'm not so into this. Like, do you got
responsibility
protection?
and accountability for her state
Of
of
course
being,
I've got protection. Just calm down.
weighing
You'll be
on her
fine.
mind, dancing at the back edges of it as it is.
You're gonna really love this.
Brings
I
us
promise.
to Maddie.
And she uses
After
awe on him.
leaving Joji's firing,
Oh no, she has his full
destruction of
attention.
all that he had
She
been
is the center of
at his
everything
home.
that is
Where would
titillating
she
about
drive?
a random
What
hookup
would she
and everything that has the alarm bells when people think back to what happened with
For the
Dahmer
moment, she would
and
likely
Gacy.
be sticking
And
with them.
how could you go along
if
with that
only
person? How could
to
you put
try
yourself
to
in this
keep them
and
out of
all of those
more trouble?
moments happening at once? The pull towards strange,
Fruitless says
the
that
she
maybe.
followed
pull
them to
towards oh my
Candyman?
god, this is
Yes.
So
how
she followed
movies
them to
started, not even the
Candyman
good
without
ones.
them
Like where's
realizing.
Jigsaw
As they
or
entered and
Leatherface or
began
is
to
this am I
carouse,
dreaming? What like
as they moved
something?
past the animal pens,
So
where not
Annabelle
And you're
all,
the center of the
not
storm.
only the
takes her
four-legged
shirt
variety
off.
of animals are inside, as they made their
And
way
she's
up
like,
to the
"Come on,
larger house. What has
don't
she
be such a
done?
wuss."
Has she slunk along behind them? Has she
You know,
prowled from around bushes and
you want a good
edges of
hookup.
buildings, staying out of
Don't
sight?
just be afraid of it. Look at this.
Or
There's
has
nothing in
she
it. It's just a
boldly
fucking
and
job.
brazenly stormed
Thought we'd
forward
catch
to make
some
sure that
fireflies or some
whatever
shit,
they
but
are
no,
engaging
you have
with
to
at
fucking
the
freak out.
Candyman's doesn't fall
Come on, baby.
back on
It'll be
her?
fun.
Or does she
She
simply
would.
wait in her
Just
truck for them to be
leans
done?
in for another kiss, and
She
she's
probably just waits
kinda
in her truck, watching
and
the
she
building.
leans in and she's like, "Tell me what your deepest desire is
Watching, waiting,
right now."
and it's a terrible, horrible,
And in the midst of this
no
fumbling,
good, very bad
seduction.
place. Or at least it is according
In the
to
midst
Dr.
of this,
Seuss and anyone who's ever had
two
to wait
square
on someone
pegs attempting
else.
to fit into a
Period.
triangular hole.
Waiting is absolutely
What, if anything, are the other members of the coterie doing?
destructive. Because several times throughout the course of waiting, malingering, loitering, the natural question
Yep,
of
I'm
what
just
the hell am I
gonna
doing runs rampant,
I'm just gonna keep
multiplies
an eye out
exponentially, growing and filling all
and
the
try
spaces
and
between the
make
wrinkles of
sure
the mind.
nobody
It
accidentally
is
stumbles upon this burgeoning clusterfuck.
disastrously, dully
All right, with Piece let's go ahead and roll your
poor.
wits plus auspics.
Hey, that works for me.
Which is the antithesis to what the coterie as a whole is facing. As
no awareness
India
edition?
tries to rouse the college boys, the frat bros, the associates of Lita's victim, who has come and gone at very nearly the same time.
India.
Not completely
India.
shuffling off the mortal coil,
Keeping
but
an eye on
everything
the
that they
body
were
in the
at
truck
up
bed.
until that moment exploded into a vibrancy that they had heretofore not ever known possible. And mind you, they've gotten into auto asphyxiation, they've gotten into multiples, multiples, groups of titillation, and in many cases, full blown ecstasy and release. They've trod down the yellow brick road of fetish and pleasure. They let their freak flag not only fly, but act as their sail and North Star. And in the act of being fed upon by the most ridiculously, offensively attractive corpse, even with all the soul-searing pain
in the grand scheme of things,
They have never had
there's
that
a
amount
well-known
of pleasure
aphorism, a
exploding
mantra, if you will.
within them.
It
They have
is
never had that
man
much
plans,
pain
God
coursed
laughs.
through every facet of
In
their
a different
being.
reality, in
They
a
would
different
kill
plane of existence, in a different version of this moment,
anyone who attempts to
Joji
do
was
the same
warily
or similar to
aware
them
of the
again.
forces moving,
And
not
yet,
just in this plane of
there's
existence,
a
but
bright,
every
shiny
facsimile of flame
center
that's
that's
touching,
all
abutting, rubbing
gooey and
against, and
moist in
lightly penetrating this
expectation of
particular
the release
spectrum of
of that
awareness.
moment.
In another
It is the
situation,
twisted,
in another
most
time, in another
destructive
version of this reality. Sadly, in this
feeling and
version
place to
of
be.
reality,
Because there are some
as
truths that they
Lita
have
and
yet to
India watch,
come to grips
as
with. Is this what it takes? Is
Annabelle
mortal damnation of my soul the
all
only
but
way?
physically
Is
accost to
and
drive
all of
home the fact
those
that she's trying to keep this
thoughts
particular victim
bombarding every facet
alive.
of their ability to speak and
Joji is
realize just
caught
how
with the
far gone they
spiraling
are.
understanding that you are never alone.
And in a similar state
There
of
are beings that once
uncertainty,
were, never
several
had
horrible
been,
truths sitting there
beings
before
that
them.
covetously watch and
Joji.
are aware of
Because
our
Candyman
existence,
is a great
the
host.
bright
It's a great
flame of
party.
our
Your
emotions,
pleasure
the
is most important. But at
dark
this moment, with
doldrums
all
of
of the
our
mementos of his past gone,
unrealized
poof,
and
up in smoke,
uncommunicated
who is he?
expectations.
Joji always lives in several
He is
moments at the same
aware
time.
that in the
Here,
wide
there,
spectrum of
what's going to
all
happen after
possible
there. He is
things,
able to see
that
the
quite
intricate
quantumly and
network
actually
of how things
no one is
settle
ever
and are
alone and no
aesthetically
one is
pleasing
ever
for
singular
maximum
in their
results.
existence. The clouds above moving
And
with all
now,
due
everything that he could gauge and base
charge,
himself off of,
threatening to deposit all of their moisture upon the
every
ground beneath them.
moment
The ants crawling
that he
across the
bothered
pavement,
to catalog
marching
for
to the beat of their own drum. It is
every
late, it is
act
night, they
of
shouldn't be out, but yet though there they
building
are.
something
The night birds
pleasing and
whispering
lasting
and screaming in the
by his
distance.
hand,
The
by his skill,
wan
by his
electric lights
design,
filtering across the darkness to where
taken
you
from
all
him in
are,
one
hidden
fell
from
swoop.
easy view. That strange melodic sound of a city in motion. The
While
cacophonous
rousing
din
the
of
frat boys.
persons,
Those truths
beings,
that Lita,
all sorts of
Joji,
flora and fauna
Lita's
across the
victim,
various dimensions,
Maddie,
the second
dealing
dimension,
with
the third dimension, the
ephemerally.
fourth, the
She is
ad
dealing
nauseum
with
dimension caught up in the teleplay that is this
more
moment.
directly. Two
Is
steps
such a
removed from her.
beautiful fractal
Outside of her,
reality
she's
that he's
able to
able to
see
perceive.
things that she would much rather not see.
And
These boys, these college kids could have been her brother.
at this exact
might have been her
moment,
brother 10, 15, 20 years ago when
as
he
that plays
had
out,
his turn of being the local hero.
it's been 2
He
weeks.
could have, and probably
Maddie,
was, one
2
of the
solid weeks.
young adherents to
14
Candyman's party.
nights.
And if
15
not for
technically.
several small
Since
differences,
that
he would still be here today.
horror
And
that
yet
was
these
the
fucknuts,
awakening and
these ridiculous
rising
waste of men,
of the Bruja primogen of Bethany.
woman, and
2
child.
weeks since Hell
These
came to Earth
immature,
and used her body
physically
as
mature
its instrument.
waste
2 weeks since
are pissing
you've all
away
been
the
ensconced
opportunity your
in
brother never truly got.
Shreveport, settling in,
Are
finding your
pissing away
place,
the
finding
happiness
where
that
you all stand.
didn't get a
And
chance
in
to
that 2
experience.
weeks, in that
You realize
wild,
this
wondrous
because as much as you've
fortnight
accomplished
of
over the
petty
years,
activity, you all being
since
settled, you all realizing
it has
that,
been done
well, to be
through the
perfectly
veil
honest,
of
you are
mourning,
here as
has
potential
been done
scapegoats. You
with
are here
his
as tools
hands ghostly and
of the will of the people, of the court.
transparent on your shoulder.
The mom in
It's
all
been
that
done
time
with
having
the weight of his
given
law
one
sitting on
sermon,
your
one
heart.
teaching, one education
It's been
after
done
another.
with a pall
In the olden days,
draped over.
countries watched
And
other
these
countries for stockpiling
fuckers
of meat
are
and salt
wasting their
and
opportunity.
various other small,
And speaking of wasted
nothing
opportunity, your entire
ingredients
life,
that would
Annabelle,
be used to
the entire
feed
existence, the
an
entire
army on the
measure
move.
of what you've done
That's
and
how
what you've been
countries
thus
nearby
far has
would
been
realize
singular.
we're in trouble.
You have always
We should have been
been
doing the same.
you.
We don't know who they're
And
going after,
very
and the fact that
seldom
we
will
don't
you
know
anyone's
whom
first,
they're going after,
second,
it
or
most
third
assuredly
choice,
means
let alone
us.
their
Let's make sure
consideration.
all of our allies are prepared.
these
And
assholes,
it was that sort of
both the ones you can see
wariness
physically, those members of your
that
coterie who are
helped
here,
certain nations and
and
certain
that other
empires last as long
have
as
done
they did.
much
in
And because of
consideration
that methodology and that
and in pursuit
ideology,
of
you
you.
realize that's exactly what the
You've always been
Tremere
around.
are doing.
You've been able to watch the world go by. You've been able to observe and understand and
Here are
catalog. You
stockpiling
know which
salt.
buttons to push and which levers to pull
The
on everyone else because
Tremere
you've
have
had the
their
opportunity of
feelers
invisibly,
as many places as possible.
ghostly,
And it's quite difficult
being
considering the prince
and
to
yet,
whom everyone
even
is
though it is only but
sharpening
one
their
hand, you can
knives,
count
is in
on
fact
your
a member of the
hand
Chantry.
actual
It's an interesting position to be in because
entities
one of the
and
foundational
beings
principles
that
of
perceive
the
you,
Chantry,
that
of the Tremere as a
consider
whole,
you,
of the pyramid,
that
is not
notice you,
actively
and you are not
moving
invisible
against
towards.
any other member.
It's a lot, to say the least.
Yet while they're not
Each member of the
actively
coterie
involved in
wrestling,
the plotting,
dealing,
the planning,
addressing,
the
or not,
carrying
with
out,
their own particular
the Tremere
issues, with
have
the
pretty
offer
much
sitting
thrown
there
their
before
lot
them,
in with
the understanding
grapple,
that
with
you
the
can avert
soon to be new
catastrophe if you
body
but.
politic, the new government. The
If
forerunner,
you
of course, being
but.
Ollie Smith Johnson's
As you
seneschal.
all trundle out of the Candyman's plans being to be
Blue Bloods
made,
always
conversations to be
scrabble
had,
and crave power.
and Maddie is sitting there in her
There's
trunk,
the idea of the Scourge, the
consternated,
sheriff,
frowning,
Samantha, and her
carrying this
army of
thoughts
thin bloods,
clearly
her
bombarding
SWAT
beneath
team
the
of thin
surface.
bloods who carry out her will
As you
against
all
rogue
leave,
members
because
of the
there's
court
no, let's be perfectly honest,
as a whole.
in the midst of all the
consider the
titillation
city being
of the
considered part
flesh,
of
the
the court.
offering of blood, the willing to share experiences, there's
There's
no
the
way that you
imam
can
who,
cognizantly nor
let's be perfectly honest, as regent is
soberly
lord and master of
consider
everything that
what lay
happens
before
inside
you.
of the Chantry and connected with
There's
it.
also the fact, the very real fact, that the police are very much on their way. The fire department is very much headed in
There's
your
also
direction,
Maggie
and,
Blake,
well,
the insane
questions
pervert
will be asked.
of a toreador
Questions
who
will be
runs the
raised.
entirety
You
of
all
the
will be
blood trade
implicated
in
if for
Shreveport.
nothing more than
And
having
as
been known
vital
as on
as
the scene.
Shreveport is,
So as you all are leaving
controlling
Candyman
the
and
flow
Maddie is there in the
of
truck,
blood, the donors,
what is it that
the
you say, don't
juice
say, decide to
shops,
do or not do? And where do you go
the
to discuss privately amongst yourselves what is your
low-minded,
next step?
poor taste baggers.
Well,
Having a stranglehold on the trade means that she
I
is a
believe we
power,
still need to
even as
talk
she seems to not pursue it.
to the Candyman, right?
2 weeks. It's settling in
Yeah.
with the
I
understanding
don't
as to
think
the
we
lay of the
ever
land.
actually
What
managed a
has that
conversation with
meant?
him.
You
So,
did not. For Maddie.
is there like a his main building?
Yes.
Okay. And is it flooded with people?
Yes.
All right,
But
so
you, Joji, know what that would mean.
Mm.
If he's throwing a party of this plebeian level, with so many others partaking of his hospitality, the twins are normally in charge when he is not around. And while it seems as if he is always, in fact, around,
Maddie, are you there?
much, unfortunately, too much like Joji, he exists in a place of being forward and backwards at the same time. So in situations where everyone party's begun and everyone's in the midst of their cups, he typically, unknowns to most, retires. He slips away. The mask of the ever-present host and master of ceremonies.
Okay, it seems as if we're
Slipping away
experiencing
from
some technical difficulties from Matt.
He has the opportunity
So while
of
that is
letting
hopefully sorted
his
out,
powers
we'll
of
circle back around in a moment. While that is happening,
Party.
while that is yet to be
take
rectified,
hold and take life of its own.
all right. And historically, when Joji has shown up looking for him during these times,
as you force yourself on your victim,
he's
because it's
gone
literally
to
come to that.
he's gone to a
Annabelle,
shack
would
at
you be
the
so
creek.
kind
So
as to roll a
I suppose
dexterity
Joji
and
would start
athletics
leading them that away.
-2.
Trying to get Lita away from prying eyes and still achieve what they need to do. Because honestly, like
Do I even have enough?
he doesn't have much left, and he is one of the few things that he has left.
I got
Oh.
one success on one die. Yeah,
Honestly,
I mean,
you've
I'll come
got a
with
pretty
you.
good success rate. So Joji is just gonna kind of, all right, everybody, we need to get out of
Yeah,
here
sure.
now.
Yo.
I know,
Welcome
I
back.
know where Coleman is at. So just come along. India, I'm sorry, leave that guy there. He doesn't matter.
Fuck you, dude. You don't matter.
I know, I don't. That's the. I mean, sorry, I don't mean it like that. I mean, we got really big issues
There
going
is
on right now.
there is an understanding as to how bad things can be. We all have an expectation as to this is the absolute rock bottom. It can't get any worse than this. This absolutely sucks, but I can survive this. I will outlast this. I will not give in to.
Annabelle's
And
just
that's
like
usually when the rug is pulled.
contemplating what
That's
it
usually when
means
we
to
find
like
out that hell has
have
a
to learn
basement.
how to love someone.
That's
And it's
usually the
very
moment
weird to her.
when
So
our
she's
senses
like,
of
let's leave.
self are sorely tested.
I
As your
think
fangs
we need to
finally,
kill
you just
somebody.
fuck this. We're just gonna have to do it the rough way.
No,
Bare chested,
no.
holding him,
Your friends.
gripping him as
Kill
if
somebody?
he
What the
was
hell?
exactly
No, we don't need to
that
kill anybody.
food.
She's high on something.
Damn your
Look, he kind of
nebbish,
just
stumbling,
her shoulder and turns
fumbling
her towards him.
resistance to this.
Any
Your fangs pierce his
strange
skin. That
ideas that you
salty,
have right now can be
unbelievably
kept to
vibrant
yourself until we
red
have a moment to properly discuss
begins
them.
coating your tongue.
Understand?
No, dude,
Doesn't
share.
take all that
No,
much for
dude,
that
share your little
delicious,
feral librarian. It's
iron-rich,
gonna be fucking
just
hot.
essence of life begins to flow.
Man, I would
The
love to.
magic
I
of the
really would,
kiss
but unfortunately,
doubled and
no.
redoubled by your efforts at the lingering kiss,
India
pouring
has
more
already
of
kind of
the
clocked
monster in your
Maddie
heart
being there and has
into
given
him.
her kind of a once over, looks back at the boys,
Then the
and
rough
she legitimately snarls.
and then the
Uh,
whole of where you all are and what is actually
did I
out
do?
there in the dark reveals itself in the most garish.
They literally
and
make the
alliterative
childish,
way
little
possible.
immature claws with their
Right.
fingers as they.
Your back feels as if it was literally broken in two, as if it was split in
Oh,
twain,
they're cute. I
as
realize I
the
won't.
member of
But I
the
can't eat them. But
sewer rats
let's go.
reveals
Let's
himself
go.
in the
Let's
midst
go.
of you all,
I am
coming
not
to
convinced
save
that we
the
can.
day, or
But anyway,
more
no,
accurately,
yes,
for
it
you all
was
in
a
this
joke.
moment, coming to ruin this moment.
Sorry, boys.
You hope it's a he,
I'll kill
standing
you
at
later.
just under 6'5", wide enough that he would quantify as a door. Its flesh
India
a
looks towards
garish
Maddie. You coming
color
or
of
not?
bruised dead, slack on
No.
one side as if the skull
Just
was
waiting for
two
my
sizes too
invitation.
small
Let's
in that
go.
particular half of the face, sunken in,
All
the
right,
eye protruding,
follow
not because
me.
it's actually
Says
larger
he's still kind of like
than the other, but because the
shell-shocked
flesh
by
around it
India's
is
snarl.
sunken into the very socket of the skull, which
Wait a second, when did
itself,
you get
again,
here?
appears two
No,
sizes too small
later,
on
later.
that half of the face. The one thing that is not two sizes too small are its overlarge, shark-like row of fangs. Sharp little
Later, yeah,
needles,
it's a great
curved
idea. He's
like
just looking
snake
around at all the
fangs
warm
along
bodies.
the top of its mouth.
Later is a great
Bottom
idea.
teeth, these nebbish, chiclet
India
squared
gets close to Lita.
things, row
He's feeling
after
a bit
row,
peckish right
the
now.
tongue
and
resting
that's
against
not
those
a good
several
thing
rows
for
of
him to be
teeth,
around this
cutting
much
and marring itself, causing this
deliciousness.
black, ichor, licorice, thick vitae to constantly well up in its mouth. And you only know this because as it strikes, it unveils and unmasks itself. The fingers bent as if it was a arthritic elephant's hand.
The funny thing is, and here's the part
The
that's absolutely
clothes
sucks for Joji.
sagging and
Because you
flailing
all are
with the
walking from
faint wind,
the main house out to the
and
sub
that
house, down
stench. How could
past
you
the
not
road, heading
recognize that stench? How was
further
it able to hide
west,
that
out
stench?
past the shrubs,
Because
out past where the trees start,
it smells
across that little
absolutely
small
awful.
bit
It
of verdant plain.
smells
Now, it
as
doesn't
if you
seem
all
like
are
all that far,
bathing
because
in
normally
the
when
last
he was here before, when
vestiges
he's
of
here
a
previously,
corpse
you take
emptying its
one of the
stomach
forerunners or one of
as
the
the 21
AGVs. It's
grams
only
of its
about
soul
900 or so feet, But the fact that he knows that it's exactly
Glitters away.
938 feet to that small bit of calm, with all of that water, all of that space,
Muffled,
that the
strangled
Candyman, that Asher takes
roar
for
of
himself
it
in the midst
as
of
it
the
bats
biggest parties. If the
Annabelle away
party
from
is
her
not, if the
victim.
parties that are taking place are not
Something you won't
solely
forget.
kindred affairs, after they are in full bloom and the wildness has begun, and
Swamp Thing
people are
is coming to
letting their
fight
hair
climate change
down
one kindred
both
at a
atop
time.
their head and other places, he slips away. His presence still
All right, well,
magnifying what's happening at the
I
party,
guess
but he
just
leaves his grounds, he
as
leaves his
Joji
kennels,
comes
he
back from
leaves the
his trip
party
around the rainbow,
to its own
he
devices,
notices this thing
and he communes
from wherever he's at. Just,
with
oh
the
fucking
solace that
god, what is that?
normally doesn't exist.
Oh God.
The electric hum of
No, God,
people engaging in pleasure, the vibrational energies of everyone letting
We need to
themselves
run.
experience their moments of happiness or joy,
that's a good idea.
and he's 938 feet
Just trying not to throw up.
away, communing in the almost silence. The voices, of course, carry, because sound is weird out here in Bethany. Sound carries. Things that are
Driver
5 feet
what?
away sound like they are miles away, and
Who the
things
fuck are you?
several miles further
Joji's
on
just
into the
gonna make
dark
his way over to
seem as
Annabelle,
if they're right
trying to
at your shoulder.
interpose, seeing that she's been hurt pretty
So his communing has that
severely from
small
a
thrum,
verbal
that
standpoint.
small vibration, that small background backing beat. And yet it is one of the calmest things, one of the few
The voice that
times
pours out
not in the grip
is a
of
fiend,
love's poisonous claws, where
muffled thing.
Joji was able
The words
to
garbled together, the syllables blending into
commune, to be
one
in that
singular
moment.
solitary thing. As a watcher of people, as a studier of emotions,
Well, hot damn.
all of that academic shit falls by the wayside.
Just
It's
kind of
angry, but most kindred
the
are.
overly
It's having a hard time communicating, but so does
sense-heavy
everyone.
individual that Joji is. And just as India whispers
The
that
curiosity as
to
to
Lita, just,
whom
I'm not
it might have been or who it
that
thinks it is.
hungry.
Dancing there at the tip of your tongue,
I
spurring
just
you forward to try to
I need
embrace this
to
moment, to
see
get
Coleman.
something from it, some draught of wisdom or knowledge. Joji,
You did
as
just
you stand
lose
before it,
everything. I understand.
you realize how short you actually are. As you stand
You
before it,
really,
you realize how massive it actually is.
really don't.
As you stand before it, trying to find the beauty in this moment, because there's beauty in every moment, no matter
But
how
that's
horrific. And coming up
no, it's
empty
fine.
is a
It's
painful thing.
fine. It'll
The
work itself
many
out.
rows
It
of
does.
teeth, the viscous, thick,
Always does.
potato saliva that seems to be gumming up its mouth as it
I just
spittles and
have to
roars.
do some things I don't like.
Its size and girth, massive. And you know that with all of that mass, all of that
What sort of
presence,
things?
there's got to be something there that is remotely non-hideous.
I'm
There's got to be something there to keep that depressing,
not as harmless as I seem, which is,
elitist
I suppose, the theme for
sense of what
us.
beauty is at bay.
Maddie,
And
pucker
for the
head
life of
upset.
you and the
Well, I
life of
don't
all
know,
of your
but
victims,
seems
this is
like
the first
life's like
time in
98% of doing
several
shit you don't like.
dealings with the Nosferatu, where
That's
you are coming up
true, but
empty.
I don't know. I thought
Is
maybe when I was brought back here, maybe
and
when I
is
got my store up and
flailing
running,
and swinging and
when
seeking to
Coleman was looking out for
further
me,
attack
maybe I
Annabelle.
had gotten away from all that. Maybe I could be better.
Lita, India,
But no.
as it very much looks as if this is a parable from the Bible. You all grew up with various different iterations
be
of
what we
takes
are,
on
really. Or
the
to get
battle
what we
between
want,
David
gotta
and
be
Goliath.
what we are.
Generally
And that's
speaking.
very much what Joji looks like. Hopefully he'll be as
But
lucky.
nobody, are we
Unfortunately,
like
he
far
doesn't
enough
have a
away from the party
slingshot.
right now to have a
He doesn't have
conversation?
a sling. Doesn't have anything in the way of weapons.
you
Save
have
his
about
pretty little
938
face.
feet to walk.
All right. Boop, boop.
So
My current hunger level. Character. Joji.
And as you all
Boom.
come up with your battle plan, if there
He's
is
just
one, if your battle plan is
as
not to
she says
simply
that, he kind of
escape
makes an
by all
internal
due
decision.
means, while you consider that,
Maddie,
That's wrong.
there were no whispers about what was going to happen
Maddie,
at my
do you
place,
have
right? I don't
premonition?
think they're trying to work with us, so I don't think it was the Tremere. But I gotta ask.
No, nothing like that. Just, making
Do
sure
you
that
have
everyone's going to adhere to that
politics
deal.
and etiquette?
Okay. Okay.
Do you sound is funny? Washington. Your voice is close enough and clear enough that you can hear the vibrations of your non-moving air. Close enough where
the machinations
are
that are very much
well distinguishable,
bold
but just barely so.
out in the open.
The
When
moon
you are
isn't
around,
high
when you
tonight.
are
The clouds are out.
associating with
Their
your
usual
sire
accumulation
and
of
the cabal
dancing
of
along the horizon line. The stars aren't twinkling and putting on a show for everyone because, well,
and the
they're fucking
vizier
tired.
to the primogen, when the advisor to the
Yet,
upper members of the
Remain.
chantry. Because unlike most places,
There's this
the primogen
drumming,
here is actually the
this
secundus of the
small
chantry.
backing beat.
Reggie
The noise
is
from the party
the
is
second
reaching
most learned
not only your
and politically
ears, but it's
savvy Tremere
dancing along
in all of
the
Freeport, which is saying quite a lot.
outer hair,
Carl,
fine hairs on your
Our
forearm.
enforcer,
It's
a bodyguard,
moving with the wind bringing the odd
is
laughter or
has
exhalation
been
of pleasure
in
to
your
you
position,
from the
right
party
hand
goers and
in
revelers.
the
It's
presaging
not
of
quite
the
discomforting,
primogens.
but it is very, very
Anger.
close because you can still hear them,
Fire
even
Marcus,
amidst the
of course,
slow
the
rolling
advisor to
in of
everything
the
that happens above
winding
his status,
down
the inner circles of mystery,
siren, the
and the
klaxon,
mom,
instead of the
the
whoop,
regent of the chantry.
it's at this distance.
He has been sitting in the
And yet the
presence
sounds
of
of the party
the
are still
most educated, learned members of the chantry. He has been in the presence of the
Joji,
cabal of
however,
those who are
the
seeking to
sound
overthrow
of the
Smith
sirens
Johnson.
is almost loud enough to
And while they
dull
talk
the
as
roar of the party.
people in power talk, as if it's a form
Almost.
of illusion,
But what's
as if it's a set of
pressing more
hypotheses, these
for
are
Joji
just foundational
is that he is
aspects of the
sure
universe
that
at large.
Asher
The
has heard
sad
you all.
truth.
He's sure
Most
that
of it
right now,
has, in
moving
fact,
through the
gone over
underbrush,
her.
verifying who you all are, is the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Body language and
His sanctum sanctorum, his
facial
sacred place
takes,
is,
the
well, his sacred place. And he's
subtextual
always a good host. And yet
understanding
you're
of it
sure
is
as
well in line
you
with everything that she is.
are
But
fighting
as
off
she's
all of your
spent a good deal of time
experiences,
there,
traipsing
she's
behind your
managed to
sire,
meet Mary
doing so
Ella.
very many
Mariella
things,
Marshall. She's some hotshot
that
Tremere from
he
out
right
east.
now is
And
verifying you
while
are all still alone.
Maddie is expected to be the muscle, expected to be the brute, whereas when they tell you, when they snatch away your leash, you are to attack, as they tell you to. You're there to put
He's
your
just kind
body in the way when they tell you
as
to.
he's
But
as
until then,
he's
you're
watching Maddie and
much
paying
like children
attention
of
to
old,
her,
expected
this,
to be
he
seen
flicks his
and
eyes
not
over to
heard.
India and he's like, I think
They, Mariella,
Coleman knows we're
who
here, so
makes
don't
nice.
do anything stupid.
Wasn't that the whole point of being here? Is that to let him
He
know we're
understands
here?
the situation.
Yeah, but
For your
we're
opinion and your input.
how would you feel if somebody came to your private spot without really announcing themselves after causing trouble?
Keep talking about this
Well, announce us.
place of yours, this borderline watchtower
Coleman,
city, Bethany.
it's Joe. I'm sure you can tell. We need help.
I'm trying to understand. Why would you even
want to be there. Like nothing seems to be happening. Like everything comes here. Like where I'm from, it is more like Shreveport than everything that you mentioned about Bethany.
You know,
It is
actually,
everything happens there. But
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, India,
and don't get
when
me
we were
wrong,
talking
I
about
think that
Maddie knowing,
the
Joji
remedial
was the one that
course,
said,
the
like, that
remedial
couldn't have happened,
city,
right?
like Bethany, would probably help
Yeah, he
give
was
you time to
believing in
study,
her that
to
it couldn't have happened, but
create
All right,
rituals,
then I'll not roll
just
insight
memorize
because
what
I
everyone
have
else
in
has already
character
done.
expressed a
Have you
trust in
had the
Maddie.
opportunity of making something, of building something?
Well, of course, everybody. I know
You
y'all
know that's
here.
how Karna found her,
Twins.
way
They
free.
can't keep
was
much
stuck out there
anything to
as
themselves.
the
I did not
regent and the
expect you to come
primogen
so
because
late in the
because
evening.
Milwaukee
I
is so
had set aside
small.
hors d'oeuvres
You
for
spent all of
us.
that time
First is on your
studying.
left, then on your right, then
Do you do the same?
over your right rear shoulder, then over your left, and finally, now, I didn't realize that you would not be coming alone. Otherwise, I would have prepared more hors d'oeuvres. Not that you all had the opportunity to partake in anyway, but I see that you all are here. And it'd be rude to send you packing back the way you
trying to
came.
get back there?
Why don't y'all come
or
on further
you
out? It's
quit
a
what
little
they're
further
doing?
ahead, and we get a chance to sit
Never
and watch
heard
all that glorious water
of
move and do the things that
the
water
changeling
does under
being
the light of,
split
well,
like this.
no moon tonight.
They're not actively doing anything.
Plus,
but they're
perhaps discuss
doing so much. They're
some of
not stopping, and they know that there's
quiet and things that
intent
I have
going
heard
to be
you've all
made on
been
the
up to.
prince's
Y'all opened
life.
up a shop and start getting friends amongst the collegiates and kicking open.
That's the fact. Look at them putting
tearing
their heads
down
together. Look
various
at the
anarch
fact that they're gathering so
institutions.
many ritual
Look at you, Miss
components.
Indy,
Look
just
at the
making
fact
yourself the home no
that
matter where you
they're
go. I must admit, I was surprised that you all
unable
comported yourselves so well hanging out there in the major leagues. So you can imagine my equal surprise when y'all need to come home, especially with everything that's been going on around here. Why don't y'all tell me how y'all been making it out there in the big city? What plans and people and places y'all managed to be done by and see?
It's clear.
Just kind of seeing this object of trust in a sanctuary, just unable to
We are what
really
we do,
hold himself
or what
back
we don't
now
do.
with
We are what we tell
everything that's
ourselves we
happened.
are,
It
and
just
that's what
kind of
we end up being.
subtle
You know
pink
that book
streaks running
a
from his eyes.
couple of years ago,
It's
The
not good.
Secret?
It's
That
not good.
idea of what
It's
you
not
put
good at
out
all.
into the
Be better
universe is
than
what you
that.
get back.
Is it that good that it's
That
bringing
the
you to
universe
tears, or
does
that good that your anger is bringing you to an
do not
exhalation of yourself? Boy,
understand
get
what
yourself
you put
together. And
energy
he
into,
steps in and
what
throws
you
his arms around you as if you are a loving
willed
nephew
into
or
being.
younger sibling, and
Your
actually
action and
hugs you.
word and
He gives
focusing
you
your
the
spirit.
opportunity, if
I
you were
hear that
any
was
other
put
gender,
out
to be
by
close enough
some,
to sing Fang without any frustration
inspired
on
by
his
some
part.
anarch out
That
east,
level of trust is not
somewhere
something
in the
that's easily
suburbs
done
of
amongst kindred.
Chicago.
Kindred as a whole, as just as predators,
Portion of it, but I
are
do know
dangerous
that
to
it's
not only themselves,
true.
but those they allow close enough to touch.
Just between you and me.
Those they allow unimpeded access to themselves can and do, through purpose and negligence,
not
harm each
tying
other.
himself so very closely.
And yet here he is, one of the primogen, one of the harpies,
Lockstep
a
with
Bethany,
Miss Blake,
opening
that
himself up, presenting
her
himself not
enforcer,
only as a
or
target,
the
but
harpy, Miguel,
to be perfectly honest, a
is
victim,
probably going to set
offering
up his
sisterhood
house to be a
solace.
victim of a random arson attack tonight.
And much like the overly emotional,
I
overly
shouldn't say
attached
anything. What the Toreadors do
individual
is none
he
of my
is, he'll
business.
embrace back and
But
just kind of
I don't
sobbing
like
into the
bullies.
chest of Coleman. Just they burned it down.
Miguel
They
seems
burned
like
it
such
all
a bully
down.
to me. But luckily, I don't know him, so
It's
I
all
don't
gone.
owe him anything.
It's
I
all
don't need to go
gone.
tell him
She's
anything or keep him
gone.
from
They took
going
everything from me.
home tonight. But the plan is somewhere around the neighborhood of 3 a.m.
No.
Miss Haven's going to go into
They didn't
a
take everything.
If for nothing else, I think it'd be good to go
everything.
take a picture of
I
that new
have
one,
to
but I
apologize
don't.
about my theft.
I need to get to
assumed
the
that
casino.
I was
Shane
totally
is
wrong. So I
making
only
me
managed
work
to
as a
get
pit boss
one
in the
thing
last
out
night
of
of
the
the
shop.
evening.
Otherwise, I
You
would
have
have
a good
perhaps
number.
learned more. But I assumed that maybe the gossip wasn't true, and it'd make a lovely birthday present for you later. But they didn't get everything. Trust an old Candyman. Asher's got your back.
He waves
Okay.
and disappears from sight,
Okay.
moving down one hall, then the next, quickly moving on to get to the casino
Let's keep moving.
to make
I
her
don't want to be
nightly
outside
bread, as
right
the
now.
saying goes. Leaving you with hours to kill.
Well, you know, with this many guests, it means that we're gonna be sitting on the floor all nice and comfortable.
That's fine. That's fine. Um, I hate to try and shake the box before I open the present, but what did you save?
And as you
Now you know
grab
the
another
difference between just a
2x2 to begin
gift
whittling and creating some
and a magnanimous
piece,
gesture
some
is all the
object art.
presentation. Allow me a bit of presentation
We turn our gaze
before I
back
bring
to
it to
the
you.
remainder of the coterie on their way
Okay.
to Joji's
Okay.
Haven.
I
Standing
can do
before
that.
one of the members of the sewer rats of Shreveport, who's taken a
Sorry
particular
about
interest
your
in them
party
this
and
evening.
the
The
cops.
muffled and snarled "Move! Move!" is annoying, if nothing else.
That was you. I
As
assumed
the attempt
the
to
Empress has
keep a
made
stiff
herself
upper
at
lip
home inside someone
and
else
not
again.
succumb to the
She
very
tends to get out of hand sometimes, but she
emotional dread
means
of staring
well.
into the
She's always
face
trying
of
to do
such a
what's
demon.
right for the world at large,
Because
do these
that's what it is,
grandiose
and
things of
it is a
heroism.
thing. It is
Usually ends up with
a
somebody deader than they
harbinger
should have
of
been, but
ruin.
she means well.
It is a
Oh, also, are they trying to kill each
presaging
other?
oracle of doom, and it's hearkening
Ooh,
Annabelle,
Empress
Joji
and Emperor?
standing between them.
always have been. Something about
So,
twin flames only being
long
able to be
story short,
doused once both go out.
what do,
Of course,
gang?
neither
What
one
do?
of them bring themselves do it
Uh,
themselves. Always
Annabelle
enlist
like
somebody
immediately
else, take
holds
care
up
of
her
their
hands
business
and
so that the
she's
world
like,
is a better place. Seems
I'm sorry, I
Emperor
didn't
has
know
a
this was yours.
plan that he's been conducting from afar.
You
Hasn't
can
gone
have
into much
them,
details
Willie.
about it. But eventually they'll both get what they want, which is a release from this world. Or to watch it burn. Maybe both.
Get in the car. Get in the
Offering
car.
to
Get in
apologize.
the car.
I'm
Okay.
apologizing.
Because she
If
said
I'd
that
known this
he needed to
was
die for everything to turn out right,
this
and
was your
Oh, she
domain,
never wrong.
I would not have
Oh, she is never wrong. But then again, neither is he.
done.
Of course, that's to be expected with their ability
yeah,
to see
the
into
sense
the
of appetite is gone. You no
possibilities
longer
of what's
even
going to come.
want to feed.
The
The
problem with
beast has
that is,
been
are you
quelled by the
pushing things
presence
to
of
happen or
Nosferatu.
pushing things to stop? But either way, you are pushing, and never can
Well,
tell exactly
so
what the
anyway,
fallout of
please accept
that
my
pushing going to
apology,
be.
and let's
Yeah,
part as.
I've always been told that the more that you fight
Oh,
against something, the
I,
quicker you bring it about.
I'm very sorry.
At least whenever it comes to seeing into the
As
future and
Annabelle's
all
apologize.
that
Joji.
crazy stuff.
What?
He's still interposing himself, but he's like, since she is attempting to go the route of non-violence, he's just kind of one hand extended backwards and to
our little world here.
pushing her back as he's just ready
Anyone
to.
have anything you want to ask?
Mr. President,
while
should
we're
shit
moving?
get real? All the while, just like looking at the ground in front of its feet
Nah, I'm
and not
okay.
directly at it, because
Of course you are.
my God,
Y'all tend to always
why?
be okay, don't you?
Actually, this thing is proof that God doesn't exist.
Ever since Maddie
That seems accurate.
said that she didn't know
It's
anything
just like,
about Joji's place
oh
burning
my God,
down, India
let's
has not looked away
just
from
get
her
out of here.
and is very much giving her the
And
oh, I know.
I'd be
look.
happy to leave if you want us to leave.
And
It's up to
The
you.
jaw is clenched because she doesn't want to air their dirty laundry in front of this person because she knows him but doesn't know him well.
Yeah.
But she is staring holes through Maddie right now.
Do you have your fate casting lots
All right.
channel
Well,
open?
Yes.
I suppose if
All right, so I'm adding
nobody
off
has anything else to say,
because
I'll just
I can, and it's on.
go back to chatting away.
Please do.
Okay.
You've been through a lot.
We've all been
Lets
through
me
a
add
lot, and those that did this to
my
me.
dots and presents to my
It'll be all right.
equation. It will be.
Eventually,
Okay.
everything works out one way or the other, even if we're not here to see it.
India kind of walks up behind Joji and puts her arms around his waist and puts her chin on his shoulders as they're walking, and very, very low. So it's meant to not reach anybody's ears but Joji's. She whispers, "I'm sorry."
I got
Wait,
6.
She was
Did you use
clearly
a
lying, and I
willpower on a
caught
check
her.
that you already got 5 successes
She
on?
knew.
I sure did. Sounded like this guy. He already tried to murder me.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I just
Joji is
kinda
not
squeezed him.
capable.
Just squeezes
Look, I
him.
feel very strongly about apologizing.
Joji is not
All
a
right, now
man
all he has to do is
capable
roll
of
6, and we've
hiding
got
his
the unholy
emotions.
trinity.
It's his biggest flaw. He's something of an open book. How he feels is
Aha.
plain on
God
his
damn
face,
it.
which in and of
I
itself
think
is
that
a
one's
very
for me.
depressing
Okay, so
thing
he just
because
really
most of the
likes
time
you.
he
Powers
looks
through me to get to
afraid
you.
and dour.
Jesus.
Well,
But that is not
as the attack,
how he
actually,
looks
as
as
the
they finish
conversation
the
for
stint of their
such
journey
a
towards the
outsider
house,
thing,
the
because yes,
log
that's
cabin out
very
by the
much
lake.
what it is at this
No,
point. There's not
as
really
she hugs and holds on to him as they
a gender
walk,
to it.
and he's
It is a
looking
monstrous
forwards towards
example of
their
what
destination.
isolation might bring. It is a monstrous example as to what
There
the
is
decay of Nosferatu
something akin
might
to
bring.
blind rage
It
building.
is
Nice.
the unspeaking, all singing, all
As
dancing
the
proof
shock of
that
what she said
even
just
the
kind of
most
settles onto him.
unloved of things craves contact. Craves it so much that in the situation of protecting its touchstone from a distance would unveil itself to the
Well-
horror of its own heart and those who cast eyes upon it.
I can't say that
It very much
I
is
have
a
ever been
arbiter of single-minded focus
ungracious
of
when it comes to
mind.
receiving guests.
And
Though
as it lashes out,
my performance tonight will probably be
clubbing
considerably underwhelming,
Joji into
considering the
Annabelle.
many things that have been taking place since you all helped to
Normal cries
properly
of pain
dispose
as
of
orbital sockets are
Miss
shattered.
Logan.
Doesn't happen.
Now, I
Luckily
know
for
you,
you,
some of y'all
Joji,
might
you're
not be
already dead.
exactly the most understanding
Problem
about
being
that,
is
why
as
it
it
was
clubs you
necessary.
across the face,
But
sending you
suffice it to say,
spiraling
it
back
was in
into
fact
Annabelle,
necessary.
the
And
apology
I
getting
normally
choked
don't
somewhere in the air
approve of
between
deceit in such a
cracking
level that
of
requires the
facial
ending of somebody
bones.
else.
As
But
it touched
there's
you,
no other way
you
to
are
say it. That bitch
sure
had
that
to
that
go.
cold, almost slick slime that you felt
He-
on your
he-
cheek
She's
It
not.
was the
deprived us.
skin of that huge, humongous,
Miss
oblong
Logan?
shaped
Oh yeah,
hand.
she
Again,
gone.
it
She
looks
gone.
as
Now
close
I
to
know that
an
you all believe
arthritic
that
elephant's
with the
hand
Chantry
as is
or
possible.
Shreveport getting involved and
The
making sure
fingers
that
melded
she
into
was no
these
longer a
large,
problem, that she doesn't
tubular
exist no more.
things,
That
swollen
ain't
at the
exactly the way
joint
things
and
work. And I
looking as
didn't
if they
think
are
I'd
in
ever
fact
have to
very
share some
rictusly
little
locked
dirty little
into that
secrets that I know, but I
claw-like
guess I
position.
might as well, considering
Luckily for
everything
you,
being
it was in
everything,
fact
and
a
you all are
hand.
here tonight.
Unluckily for
And
you,
while I don't
as
have
many
any
have found, when
aptitude or
standing
d'oeuvres for you,
toe to
at least I
toe
can
with a
share a little bit of
Nosferatu is
knowledge.
they are
You see, Miss Logan,
supernaturally
much of what I said was
strong,
patently false.
even above
It
and
adds up, of
beyond
course, and I'm sure that
the
someone down the line she's responsible
natural
for all of
endless
that
strength
dirty,
you
no
all
good
have the
piece of shit
opportunity
that she
of
was.
tapping
And
into.
forgive me for talking ill about the dead.
Beyond the strengths
But
that naturally come with the
for years
battalion
now,
peace that
There have
allows
been
you
those
to
here
do
amongst us
things
who aren't really
that your
part of us,
mortal
who aren't
human
really
breathing cells
our
might
sort of
not
people.
even
You
hold
know what I
the
mean?
possibility of
And so
dreaming.
Miss Logan is one of them. Her
Even
sister
beyond
is
that,
one of the
the sheer crushing
and this is the
strength
thing that's
of a
laughable
Nosferatu
for a family to be having
is the
such
stuff of
bad
nightmares.
luck. They
Many people
absolutely
have
have the
literally
worst
been
of it.
hugged
Her sister
to
is
death.
a member of the Chantry of
Even the
Las
pleasure of the
Vegas.
kiss not quite meeting up to the sheer pain
It is
of the embrace.
amazing how bad of a luck you got to be to not
Would you
just
both
get
be so
killed,
kind
but
as to
killed with your family. One of
take
y'all
that
end up as
damage,
something,
increasing
and the
your
other one of y'all end up as something else.
superficial damage to
Now,
one as you all go
like most of the
tumbling
down and
back
out
into
club that are
the
members of the blood,
body of the
have been
truck.
working at sinking their
As you
teeth
two
and
go
claws
flying
into various
as if
other
you were rocketed
domains.
through the air.
They have a
Joji, you've been shot before.
transnational organization going on.
This very
Them
much
able
feels
to
like that.
crawl
This very
around
much feels
unseen,
worse than that.
unnoticed. Bunch of
You've been shot with a
doormen,
9mm,
cleaning
a
ladies, maids,
22, a
desk
25,
attendants,
a
and people
380.
most
This
others look past. And
feels
that goes for
worse
their
than that.
kindred versions as well. Now I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with the prostitute in China?
Fortunately, Annabelle, you have not been
Hear
shot
me
before,
out.
so you have nothing to compare this pain to
Their
except for
little
the fact that it
network of the
is the very
down and out
definition
club has crawled
of
into
pain,
most of the
with a
cracks
capital
that
P
were
and N.
filled by others. They have
India, Vita,
usurped
watching your coterie mates be
several
crumbled like
layers of
used
network
drinking
that have
cans.
gone back
What,
5,
if anything, are
10,
you all doing?
sometimes even more decades. You know what their goal
Let's forget
is.
is kind of good
It's
with
not just
guns.
the
I'm gonna
accumulation of information.
actually take out
It
my
is to
gun
use that
and take a
information
pot
towards
shot
the
at this
ends of
guy.
their originating officers. I hear there's 12 of them.
Excellent. Shooting from the hip, which is going to go ahead and roll your dexterity and firearms.
Places that won't be replaced.
All right.
You can get rid of a prince, get rid of
the back of the
premature,
bed drove
but you
off
don't
the
get rid of
hood.
a whip
Because if we
or a
drive
warlord
away, the hood being
or
up, it's going to be a
reed
problem.
or a
And then
harpy.
she'll grab
They
whichever
hide in
of the two is
positions where
closer
their efficiency
as she's
and
coming
their
around the tree and try to drag him
pledge
back
to
into the truck.
overall public good keeps them entrenched. They don't want to be the number one or the number two.
Both about the
They want to be the
same
number
'cause
3 and 4. Places that don't get
think
replaced
Joji's
when the
kind of on
regime
top of me.
changes, but it can guide
I am in
policy
fact
subtly.
top. Thank you. Didn't
You can
when
do
I was
more by
You're
not
welcome.
slamming down a gavel,
What a
by
good
not
therapist
writing a
does.
check,
indeed very
than you
very
can
perceptive of you.
building the laws that
If
everybody
only
else
you could
must follow.
convince the
It's
swamp
all fine
thing
and good.
from
The princes get to
fucking
say
clubbing
which
up.
law that's going to be handled in
I
their
tried to
domain.
apologize.
But if
Good
you were
apology.
He
the right
accepted your
hand to the right
apology
hand of the
and
prince,
sent you
the
packing.
left hand to the left hand of the baron, if you were buried publicly in the
As you
middle,
all land in
invisible,
the
you
truck
get
and hear
to
the hood
change the
close,
course
there's the
of
only
your
connection
domain,
between
which
the
is
two
fine
is that you
individually.
hit
Each
the truck
domain do look
bed
out for
and the squishy
themselves.
remains
But if you have a
of your former
national
coterie mate with sufficient
organization
force to cause the hood to slam
and
closed.
one connected by blood, no
Oh,
less,
no.
Joji, just get
I
in the truck,
perhaps
get
am
in the
putting
truck.
the cart several paces in front of the horse. They trying to take out my
I'm getting in the
prince,
truck.
and I find that offensive. I take that absolutely
There is
personally.
a
If you are mine,
understanding that only a poor carpenter blames his tools when
there's no one in
things
this
don't
world or the
match with
next
the way that
that
you
has
would
any
like them
right
to.
of
It's a
not
poor
only
craftsman that would blame his
attempting to,
tools.
but planning
But as
to
you
do you harm.
pop
And
up,
they had the
dead to
unmitigated
right,
gall
automatic sneak attack on
to
this
set their
monstrosity of a
sights
thing,
on Bethany
literally
and my
attempting to
prince.
beat your coterie into paste.
So
The
it
fact
was
that your
everything I could to
gun
move
simply
faster than them
goes
and more invisible to make sure that my prince,
no
and
fireworks,
mind you, anyone
no
comes to
firing
my
pin
prince, and I will make
striking the
sure
cartridge in
that
the
they
ship
suffer
and sending
as
it
much as
forward
I
in an explosive
am
manner,
able to
causing
make
all
them
sorts of
suffer. And
physical
when I get
pain
tired
as the
of making them
slug buries
suffer,
itself
I'm
into
gonna
your
take a
target.
big, deep
Nope.
breath.
Just a
I'm
simple.
gonna keep right back at it. You understand what I mean?
It is
So
beyond infuriating.
You're
It
not
is
working with the two men
beyond
to kill the
every
prince?
sense of what
Oh
the
no, I'm working with
absolute
him, but not to
fuck.
kill my prince.
And
I don't
while
give it
you,
two shits what
leader,
happens
are
up there in
very
Shreveport,
composed,
but my
you're
prince,
subtle in
my home,
everything.
will not be disturbed by their
Your other
machinations. This is
half
the
is
reason
not.
why I,
Your
unfortunately,
intrusive thoughts are
I
not.
take the
Your
steps that I
beast
had to
is
take.
not.
Because
What's
while the
your
Tremere
strength?
are, well, nominally effective in
I
combat,
believe two.
mostly effective when it comes to several underhanded dealings,
Would you be
I've been
so
at this
kind
long enough to understand that
as to tell me
I
how
ain't got
you
a
would
lag
feel
shit
looking down into your
for
hands
us to
as
get
you
along and do business,
absently
especially when you are
skim and
willing,
just are
able, and
trying to
capable
control
enough
your
to do the
temper
dirty work that
with
I
your
don't prefer.
hands shaking, your forearms tense, and the barrel of your gun
I'm working with them to
being
achieve a
bent by
singular goal.
sheer frustration at
The only goal
it
that matters to me.
failing you in this
They
moment.
will not harm my prince. They will not upturn my city. They will not bring their chaos of Shreveport here. Luckily,
I think those intrusive
Liam's
thoughts are
a
gonna
fairly good egg when it comes to
be
it.
easy time.
I don't trust Wolf or none of them others as far as I can throw them, to be perfectly honest. But
But luckily for you, the click
things
draws
being
its
as they
attention.
are,
Luckily for you,
strange
the click
bedfellows
draws
and all of
its
that, I have slept with
understanding.
worse. I
You
probably
pointed
will
a
again.
weapon at it. You pointed a weapon in the same general breathing space as its touchstone, which is laying gaze, staring up in horror at what's
begin to
become of its
describe
life.
how much of a relief
You,
that is.
you,
I
you would
I
turn your
thought
back on your
you
own
were.
kind. You
I
would
don't know
threaten
why,
something
but
more valuable
guess
than the entirety of the
with them
world.
100% of the way,
Who cares about the
I'm
cowboy?
glad because I was trying to fight
Eddie Oakley, who's circling
back
around the
when they
vehicle,
told me that they were
dragging the
going to get
two
rid of
who
our
attacked
prince,
its touchstone.
and
No,
I didn't.
you, you
no, that is
trembling
not
there with the
allowed. Who
weapon
said it?
of
Who
destruction,
said it?
aiming at the touchstone.
Who choked up
Anyone
that
with any
bullshit? That was
awareness
nowhere near our
understands
agreements.
the many hundred
Bethany
very
is resolutely to
thoughts.
remain Bethany. Now,
Even
if
without
any of
being
them
able to
low
make
down, dirty
out
motherfuckers
a
have
raised
it in
eyebrow, a
themselves to
clenched
take any
jaw,
pains
or any of the
against Bethany,
telltale physical signs
our
of
agreement
such
is
belabored
over. I will go to the
consideration.
prince right this moment, and we will.
The
And
roaring
he pauses and looks
and the
at Maddie.
one step, as tall as it is, that one step
You
covers
understand,
far
don't
too
you?
much ground. As it
Maddie.
turns and pivots, taking a step, putting itself firmly between
Business
you
is
and
business,
its
right?
touchstone.
No,
As Indy is yelling to get in the
not at
truck,
all.
get in the truck,
Not at
and
all.
attempting to grab both Annabelle and
Everyone say
Josie
that
into
don't
the truck.
understand that business is as
It
personal
sets
as
its
you can
eyes
get.
on you.
Business is how we provide for ourselves, and most
Speaking
importantly,
of setting its eyes
how we
on
provide
you,
for
would you be
those
so
that
kind,
matter to
Maddie,
us.
as to go ahead and roll
Business
your resolve and craft?
must
What were you trying to
always
whittle?
be conducted with a personal sense of ethics, because ruining somebody else's business is taking arms against those that matter to them, people that they would die for. And if you don't understand that, and doing everything in your power is
Would you be so
okay
kind to go ahead and roll
against
your
those to whom
resolve and
have
craft?
not done the same to you, it tells you what side of the coin you on.
Sure.
This is very, very personal. As I said, no one fucks with my prince, and no one fucks with my city. This is Bethany. This is not Shreveport. This is not New Orleans. This is not Los Angeles. None of what goes on anywhere else in the world need ruin what we have going here. We have 12 capable,
That is
competent
interesting.
kindred willing to bend themselves for the public good and put themselves at risk. Anything that challenges that, anything that puts that at
You're not
risk,
sure how you made it
needs to be
possible.
treated like the enemy it
You're
is.
not entirely sure, but you don't really
So,
know. Right?
friend to friend,
Somehow you're sticking two
we
by
got
two.
the little tens. Forgive
And
me for
carved
getting
a
my humors up.
brown
But
pelican.
friend to friend, your associates
Its long
north,
neck
would you
and
be able to happen to
extraordinarily
know
long
whom amongst your
bill.
particular associates, your
The
distant
wings could
cousins,
use a little work. They look
had
more
the
eagle-like than
wherewithal to choke up some such as
pelican-like.
using my
But
prince
it's
and my
with this
city as
bill tucked
leverage?
against
We
his
had an
neck.
understanding, but clearly not everybody's understanding what we understood
Great
when we thought we
example.
were having the same understanding.
You gotta pat yourself on the back. It's a great example of a brown pelican.
He's
Of course,
asking this of Maddie,
color would
correct?
make it pop more, but it's definitely something you can sell
Maddie
by the
and you all,
roadside
yeah.
or put it in your window.
Okay.
Make a gift to someone. Probably need to sand off the edges a
Well-
little bit, but for a rough
India's
whittling,
sitting
a
wisely and looking at
moment of
Coleman, and
just
then
absent-minded
lets her
carving,
eyes slide to Maddie,
that's good.
still looking at Coleman.
The question is, as you look at it,
If I'm not,
why don't you make it
and correct me if I'm
flying
wrong here, because
with
it's
his
been a little
bill
while since
down?
we've heard the name of this particular Tremere, but was it not the
Normally the
Tremere
bill is pointing
Primogen of that
forward
area that
as
was
it
talking with us in
soars
the
through
crypt?
the air on its way to hunt or
It
mate
was
or both,
a
as they
visitor
typically do. They're
from
not quite as
out of
bad as ducks,
town,
but they're pretty damn
and
close.
I believe, was
Any
it
port in a
India
storm and
Sire
then
that
some.
was in there too?
Yeah, bro. I don't know the name of the, at least I can't fucking remember it because haha funny, but I can't remember the name of the Tremere from out of town, but I do know that bro was there. Does anybody remember the Tremere from out of town's name?
Terrible with names. Sorry.
All right, let's see. What here, this will help me figure it out. What city was she from? Anybody remember that?
I think it was New Orleans.
It was a
Or
she?
They had come through
No.
New Orleans.
It wasn't.
All right, nobody. Obviously, the memory of your group has failed. Is there a dice roll that we can do for this in order to bring
Small
forth that
things,
memory?
big results. Big things,
You can always just make up a name.
small results.
That would be terrible.
Unlike
Memory's
the
a
usual
funny
image
thing.
of the
It
white,
sometimes flags, it
is
sometimes
a
fails.
specific
And filling in
Louisiana
the
thing.
details, filling in the gaps is
It's
very
a
much part of where we are right now. Like
weird
what the
sort of
characters are feeling and where they feel
They used to
that
call them squadrons or a pouch
aim is, what they
back in the
remember
day.
of that moment.
Because
Because it was a
its
tense moment.
bill
There were lots of
can hold up to
incidental,
about 3
indirect,
gallons of
and
water,
direct threats thrown as they were
which
fighting
is
for their
massive
lives
considering the
moments
size.
afterwards.
3 gallons, that's, the average gallon's about 8 pounds, so
Joji
that's
just
24
kind of
pounds of water
putting
it can carry
his
around.
little Lego pieces together, missing a few blocks,
With
but having
all
enough.
the things, not that it actually does, but
Um,
the water is used when it hunts. It
I'm
can
pretty
gulp
sure
down that
India's
much
sire, bro,
and carry
the
that much
bodyguard
in its bill to make
was
sure
there,
that
as
the
well as
fish that it
Marcus Black, one
so
of the
ravenously
Tremere, and
craves
I think the Primogen's advisor.
typically don't realize that they're actually dead already. There's nothing worse than its bill than
So the
staring down its
advisor to
throat
the
as it's
primogen,
attempting
for
to
someone who's
gorge
whispering
itself
sweet
on
nothings
fish
from a
flesh.
second or third position.
Yeah,
The only thing more
and actually,
inspiring
now that
about the
you've brought that
pelican is
up,
the
that
fact that here,
fits.
well, further south of where you are,
And the
it's
bodyguard
eponymous.
of
It's all over the
Seneschal is
state, but it's
kind of a third
so
position, isn't it?
ordinary and average that most
Maddie
people
will
don't
look over at
realize
Joji.
how strange the bird
I'm pretty
is.
sure I'd remember if my
It's
sire was in the
everywhere. It's
room
like how
when
most New
that
Yorkers
little
feel
discussion
about
was going
pitchforks
on.
and rats.
I'm in. Did I say Maddie? I'm
Even
in
with its
India. I'm sorry.
elongated
Your name's just
wingspan
kind of
and
stuck in my head right now on
great
loop.
height in
Again,
comparison
and
to other
I don't
birds
know
and
why.
flora and fauna of the area.
Yeah, not Maddie's sire. India's bro. Gangrel.
Dive bombs its prey.
Mil-spec
The fact that it's
looking
able
lady.
to find its prey from soaring above head to what it feeds on beneath the water's surface. It's a miraculously strange bird. Always out of its element, but able to blend in.
That is not the best news that I could have possibly heard.
Anything in particular that Maddie is studying?
The twins seemed to be under the impression that you were working with them because they were threatening you. At least that's kind of what she said. That you had to work with them. Well, one of the twins, not both
I
of the
did.
twins.
Yeah, Empress ain't
ain't completely wrong. As I told you, I do work with them. We do make strange
Reggie.
bedfellas. But the reason why I'm
What?
Reggie.
What?
Her name was Reggie.
What? Oh, so Reggie was there as well?
Reggie is the Tremere from out of town, and she said that Marcus had sent her in with Maddie to talk about making sure
is she
that we were
targeting
all
any
on
member
the proper
specific or
side
just
of
another
being
member
part
of
of
the
the plan.
chantry?
And that making sure that we knew that if we were not in line with the plan, that we were disposable.
But wait, Reggie's the name of the primogen up there.
Marcus Black was the advisor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you remember
Marcus as is
Reggie
his
being up there
nature
and talking as well.
bent towards
I'm sorry, I was a little
understanding
bit
the
scatterbrained
wide
at the time with Logan's
many
body kind of
worlds
just
that
moving around.
abound. Clears his throat, smooths
Why'd you
his
have to mention
mustache,
it?
his
Because the
beard,
thoughts, the
watches
memories
as you
are more
approach,
pressing than
tunes out
you
the
gave
rest of the
yourself
meeting, the
credit
rest of the
for.
conversation
There
going
is
on,
death, there is
and
what you are, then
focuses
there's
on
final
you
death.
and what you
And that little
brought.
bit of final death you only get to
And as
experience when you're in
you
torpor.
map out
When
which
you are in
ritual you
torpor,
are
your
attempting to
body
set,
is
You would've said
100%
it
a
is
corpse.
31
It is
after the hour.
unmoving.
Take a quick 10.
It is
I'm back
unaffected
here at
by
41 after.
anything in the area.
Like the rash you got
are able
and
to
your
sense
third
what
year
happens
at
to your
Sleepaway
skin,
Camp.
what flits
We're back.
across your eyes, what smells and sounds you hear, but there's
That
nothing
wasn't
you
the
can do
rash.
to stop it. There's nothing you can do to focus elsewhere. Yet your body is dead,
So,
and her
where I
fingers
surreptitiously contracted
moving,
several STDs.
keeping time, as it were, building strength, as if it was
Surreptitious, of
testing
course.
the
Those
limits
toilet
of its
seats will get you
mobility,
every time.
almost as if someone had the ability to reach across the void,
When we
great
stepped away,
distances of wherever
it,
they were, and began
them,
animating
whatever
that
it is,
bestial
Nosferatu was closing, was turning towards
frenzied
Lita.
corpse
When we
as a
stepped away,
puppet.
Maddie was consulting with
Just
her
kind of gives
sire,
her-
the
Continue.
advisor to the
No.
primogen of
He kind of gives a
the
A very
entire
visible
Tremere
shudder as
nation
just
of
the
Shreveport.
labyrinth of
Because let's be perfectly
contemplation
honest,
collapsing
the
in his
Tremere
mind for a moment.
really earnestly believe that they are a nation unto themselves. The Tremere as a whole, as a monolith,
as far as I can tell, every Tremere except the prince up there
is as
involved
isolationist
in
as you
whatever
can
the
be
fuck they were
and
planning.
involved in everyone else's business in one shape, fashion, or form.
What about
In
the
most
imam who was out of town?
cities and most domains,
The
Tremere
regent. Now here's the thing.
are akin
Well, I'm not sure
to
how
the
much Maddie
National
is willing to
Security
share with you
Agency.
all the nature of
They
things. While the
are
primogen is the face
Homeland Security,
of the clan,
the
politically,
postal police,
they are only
and
the
border
face
control.
of the clan. Every primogen
Their
who is not the
fingers and
regent
nebulous webs
is only
of
carrying out the
intrigues
wishes and thoughts
wrapping
of the
round
regent.
the domain,
The regent
interspersing
is
itself through
the
every
arbiter of
strata
everything that
of
the
kindred
Tremere
society.
in the particular area.
And while I would like to say
do.
that the
Inside the
Tremere
chantry, they
of
are
Shreveport
God. They are
are
higher than the prince.
less
They are higher
that.
than the
The
council
truth
of
of the matter
seven.
is,
They
as a
are
whole, they
the
are the very
line between
definition
death
of
and
that.
continued existence inside
They
the
have
chantry.
eyes, ears, sentinels,
Prince,
and worse, in every corner of kindred society.
is a Tremere.
Usually.
They have a primogen.
So, once more from the
They
top
have
with the
several
feeling as
Tremere
India rushes
placed
around the
across
truck to
city
get inside to
as
pull
personal
Annabelle and
body men for
Joji
various
to safety.
powers.
As they then the Nosferatu
And
closes on Lita.
no
to
one has
protect
an
their
intelligence of
touchstone.
one, correct?
And as
No,
Maddie
I have an into 4.
whittles
Nope.
Makes it even
Which
more
means
time
you
away.
all, which means you all each and
Though it
every
doesn't need to
single
be
solitary
said,
one of you understand.
What do?
Get in car.
Asher, the Candyman,
Vehicle,
mentioned the
4-wheel,
network
go,
is always
vroom,
having persons in second and third positions. Positions that won't be
the
changed
small
when there's a
neglected
retinue
child in the
change or a
back of my
leadership
head that is
change
playing
or
with
even a
toy
political
cars.
change in
Desires
power.
for go vroom vroom.
Las Vegas is led by the Venture.
Logan's sister
Who's
is
driving?
in Las Vegas. Various other important people to you all are in
Ain't
Vegas, in the power structure, in the inner circle of what makes
India!
Vegas Vegas
I'm so
for the
glad you
kindred.
volunteered.
It's gonna
The
have to be her
entirety of
because
this region is
everybody else got their
controlled
bell
by the
rung
wit
or they about to
and
be hit.
whim of the
So
chantry.
when she drags them in
The
to the
center
car, she slides behind the wheel and says,
3
"All right, let's fucking
states,
go." And
four
on
and a
that,
half counties of political
Wait,
power
is Lita in the vehicle?
held
she never got
by
out. She was in the back seat,
Tremere.
and she pointed the gun out of the back seat.
Oh, okay, I just...
Circles within
All right.
circles, wheels within wheels,
Good.
plans within
This truck
plans,
has back
and all
seats?
of them in motion.
Oh my god, that is not the right
Towards what
question
goal
right
is
now.
anyone's guess? Why are the Tremere?
Let's
Are the
go.
Tremere? What if they're... That's impossible. Because after all, if they were in the Civil War, what sort of disarray would that leave the entirety of the region in?
As the driver,
You all are
India, would you be
aware
so
of what
kind
they've
as
stated
to
they
roll?
want. The replacement of their
Your
Tremere
composure plus
prince.
drive contested by its attempt to smash through the
Like
car
lightning.
to get to Lita. To
It's
destroy all
visible,
of
but it
that
makes no sound.
made in America
You see it.
by way of being
But
made
the
in
song that's
China
being
and
sung,
then shipped to America to the
tune
plant
that
where it
everyone
is
is marching
assembled.
along to, you can't quite put your finger on.
Country
Without
toughness of your
several
truck.
pertinent details that might be shared by many, that might be
Oh, this
brought
ain't
up
good. I only
by
got
Let's see what fate has.
others.
Let's see what fate has in store.
But without all of the pieces, you see the lightning for
I'm
what it
pretty
is.
sure fate hates us.
You see the rift in time space for what it is. But what that is still doesn't have a word for you just yet. And with that consideration, it is 35 after the hour. Let's be back at 45 after. Lita, you still here?
Trying to decide if I should do something stupid.
Always very good.
Kind of.
I heard everyone
Always
else
do
did not
stupid.
step away. We are a
Alright.
minute before we're supposed to return, but
Nobody
let's
said
dive in.
Hell
We have
yeah.
And what
had
is your stupid?
we have had several points
So Annabelle is
that you all
gonna
can stick in your
grab her
murder boards,
little small mirror and
your conspiracy
try and,
thread
reflect
board,
it at
your
him
cherished memento
or her or it.
vision, Pinterest, if you like,
and muttering something.
or if not. With all of the information sitting there to be plucked and used towards your own purposes or manipulated for your own ends.
She's trying to like kind of distract it with its
not quite a mic
horror
drop, not quite
of
a
itself.
defining moment of anything.
And
But the information is out
setting
there.
up a little prayer as she does.
There are several pieces, of course,
Because we
missing
need some
based
prayers
on
right now.
various other
As any
things.
good
Obviously,
And yet,
ministry would do.
here
Minister.
we all are. The coterie, lounging on various throw pillows and soft cushions around the center of the floor. A electronic fireplace, vibing in the background. The gentle plasticized flames flickering with various ebbs and flows of light. It's still throwing off heat, but it's not actual
You should basically
flames.
kind of just go ahead and roll
The
your charisma
polar bear rug
and
from an actual polar
persuasion
bear
as high
is
as you
there
possibly
to be
can.
used, and Asher has made himself quite more comfortable. His
I'm
silken
disappointed.
pants already
At this point,
denoting
this fucker's
how
gonna get a
comfortable he
grudge.
could be.
We're
And he's
gonna leave
managed
them
to slip off
behind and
his
be like,
slippers.
you know what? No.
His silk robe is slightly open, showing a little bit more chest as he gently rants and raves and shares his stance on things. Question is, what now?
Fuck you, willpower. I got 3.
I'm telling you, leave better enough alone.
Well,
No. It's always the question, isn't it?
The whole.
So,
I guess as Joji and them are taking their time and settling in, and
everything is possible.
Coleman's getting into
You may
it.
certainly
I
attempt
guess
whatever
Joji
it
will
is
ask
that you
him
might
that very
dream of.
question. You know, just
The problem with
Coleman,
dreams
I want to
They
deal
don't have
with
any
these
bounds.
people,
There
but
aren't any rules or
don't-
laws that can be
I don't know how to do
violated
it without making life worse
in
for all of
reaching
us.
towards them. There aren't any social taboos or stigma attached
I
to whatever
can't
happens
let it
inside one's
go.
own mind.
I'm not gonna let it go.
Normally,
But every way I think
India
of approaching
floors
this,
the vehicle
just
as
it just
Annabelle
seems to make it
opens
worse in my
her
head.
compact. The reflective surface
Every time I think
inside
of
catching
how
all
to
sorts of lights
get
and
rid of or stop the people that
flares
are coming
of
after us,
reflected light
it always just
as
leads to Shreveport in flames.
the very
And that's
real push and drive towards
not
some otherness,
good.
some offer, some entreaty is made. For a brief,
I don't
flickering moment
I,
out
I
of
don't know. I
India's
need
periphery, out
time
of
to
Lita's
think,
periphery,
but I don't
plainly
have
for
time.
Annabelle and Joji.
That's the funny thing about being relatively immortal.
You all
as
see
of yet.
reflected in the space
The
of the
promise
mirror
of tomorrow is what
Joji's
holds
home.
most people back. People fail to realize,
You
Kendra
see
especially, fail to realize
Miley
that tomorrow means
lighting
you
a
only
cigar
have
with a
today. Tomorrow's a
USB
different day.
charged lighter.
The game
You
changes.
see
If you
a
wait on your laurels
wing
for
of
everybody else to
views.
do what it is they gonna do,
You
what you
see
were gonna do is already too damn late.
home.
Now I know
Bethany
what
sitting
I personally am going to do.
alone in the middle of
And I know what
nowhere.
I
The
am going to
highway,
get up to.
the expressway,
Post haste, if
its
not
main
sooner.
street leading through
You,
town.
each and every last one of you motherfuckers, need to find out what you're going
You
to do or you're
see
going to allow
the
others to
children
do to you.
crawling up out
I
of the
don't give two
tall
shits about
grass there
Shreveport
near
right
the
now.
creek.
Them
You
motherfuckers
see
threaten
the
my prince.
shimmering reflective
They
surface
threaten
of
my
the
city,
light that
and they have
you
already
all partied
damaged people that
around.
I actually care for. And that is too many sins that are unforgivable.
And you
Now,
see
mind you,
what
I
it
like
looked
sinning.
like as
I like
little as
taboos. I like breaking all of
27
those things.
years
But there are
ago.
some things that are just simply beyond the pale.
All statuesque beauty,
So
broad
you
of
all will
back,
have to
narrow of
excuse me.
waist,
I need to go talk to the
firm of
fire
hip,
chief because them
legs
dumb
that went
motherfuckers
all
couldn't
the
send
way up,
nobody worth a shit that has
toned
proper
and
political connections, and he's down there talking about code violations
you
and why
see the
there's so
night
many
where it
people. I shall
where everything
return,
ceased to be.
and if you all are here, you are
Beauty
welcome to
caught
stay, and
its
if you all are
sire's
not, you
eye.
are welcome to go. I
Out of
shall
a brief
return
flickering
post-haste.
moment, you see what
And he
that
fastens his
death
robe and
was like. It was not quick.
slips back on his
It was not
slippers, and as silent
You see the
as a butterfly's
roomy,
errant thought on their
watery
lunch,
remains of
slips
its
out,
eyes before it became
leaving
as
you
it
all
was
to his
now,
cabin, to his sanctum sanctorum,
melting away into
spread
what
wide round
remained.
on the pillows
Tooth
and
after
cushions and
tooth
settled
filtering
in
through the roof of
for
its mouth,
a real
tearing
happening
up from the
jam
soft
session.
palate of its beneath its tongue, limbs being swollen and
Okay, well,
calcified.
we
And
heard it.
whereas normally
What?
that would cause
So
anyone
what
to
are
have a tear in their
what are we
eye,
willing to
whereas
do?
normally that would cause anything
What are
to
we willing to
pause.
ignore?
You strike a blow for the cruelest
I'll
of
tell you
freedoms
right
and
now,
sharing that moment with it, bringing it to
I'm
the
not
present. And instead of
willing to ignore
causing a
what's happening to me
pause
tonight.
or a stoppage of animosity and aggression, as India floors the truck and you all
Unexpected
begin to
to.
slightly twist and turn as the torque literally attempts to tear the engine out of the vehicle.
Oh, you do what you gotta
It
do.
surges forward like a catapult unleashed. It's swinging clubs of an arm through the back portion of
So,
the truck, and causing the truck to jerk and lurch. Its bed bent and crumpled. The
there's
body
quite a few things
laying there
happening.
beneath all of the covered, squishing
We've got
like an overripe tomato.
danger to our
The
prince.
jerk and the
We've got
slamming of the
danger to
vehicle left
Shreveport.
and right inside the cab, no one having the
Let's-
opportunity to throw on seatbelts.
We've
Would
got
everyone be so kind as to increase your superficial damage by
We
one?
basically got an
Well,
all-out
As
war coming.
as the truck, damaged and yet not completely
And we're
broken,
caught in the
continues
crossfire and
careening and
disposable.
caroming off of the guardrails down the
I don't think
road
I'm
away
disposable.
from the slower moving
It's
Nosferatu.
not about whether you think you are or not. It's about whether the people using us do.
Well,
that was terrible. Never again. Never again.
It doesn't matter. That's semantics. I'm gonna make it through
how much I
this.
fucking hate this place.
I'm gonna try and make sure all of us make it through this.
Fuck everything about this place.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little more difficult than you think.
I don't. This might just be some optimism on my point. My part.
Joji, you're gonna have to tell me where to go. I don't know where your place is.
I don't think it's going to be as difficult as
just
you
take that
think.
exit. No, not that one. 3 exits down.
I've gone through a small little war myself already in this
So close to home you can.
fucked up
We don't have
society
your reaction
that we
speed. Tell us
call
like 30 minutes ahead of
ours.
time.
So I'm not
okay.
exactly unprepared to have to
speed it up.
Go back into it.
Yeah, just tell us early.
Okay.
So what was it like last time?
Well, we should have taken that turn.
Quick, bloody.
Yeah, I know.
And
there's a way to get around it though.
I can't really say anyone came out the other
anyways,
end better.
But
I
does anybody
did
have an explanation for
the
why
other
the
end,
fuck
and if that
God seems to hate us?
stain
of all the people that we could have
hooked
picked,
himself into
fuck,
Bethany.
Of all the people we could pick, we just
happily
so happened
finish
to
the
go
job that I started.
after the one that's got a fucking
What
Nosferatu
shit
following
stain
them.
was that?
Miguel.
I don't know.
That
Probably the
Toreador
same
fuck.
God that it was the one. Oh my God! Can you
No offense to any
be more
Toreadors in the room.
careful?
Like 300 feet, you're gonna want to take a right.
Miguel the
She followed
Toreador
that
fuck.
direction.
Miguel Ruiz,
It's
he's
because
attached
creeps
to the
hang out
Harpy.
together. That guy was creepy. He thought he was gonna get some free side of the road pussy, and then you got
and then
fucking crazy ass
got another
Nosferatu.
position, which that just makes it worse. That's salt in the wound.
Just from like a psychoanalysis POV,
actually,
maybe
even
the
if he's not
Nosferatu
involved
was
in this,
attached
can
to the
we
person because
add him to the list?
In the court of their being, they
I don't
just
see
wanna
why
be
not.
loved.
Little collateral damage never hurt anyone. That is probably
Good.
true, and
I
it
specialize in collateral damage.
It was probably someone they loved before all that shit happened to them. Did you see that?
I don't want to remember any of it. I
don't think
do it, but I don't want to.
Being passive in this is the way to go. Our enemies have already shown their hand. They've shown
I know.
they're willing to kill our friends and burn down our places.
What about the road ahead of us?
I said I ain't seen nothing but the road in front of us, and I had already taken your turn. So where am I going now?
You'll see it. There's going to be like some railroad tracks,
that I'm capable
and then right past the railroad track.
Doing the same. And I didn't.
What?
Those ones?
Don't mistake me.
The ones we just passed?
Doctor.
No. We didn't pass the ones I'm talking about.
Want you to see me differently.
So, he kind of looks at the puddle of Clint.
I'm more than willing.
I'm guessing he's just dead.
Burn that whole fucking city down if I have to in order to teach them that lesson.
Oh, there it is. You see that big flashing yellow sign there?
Coleman,
I take that turn.
Is a great guy. He's one of the best.
No.
And
You're supposed to go the opposite way at that
my city.
Okay,
these are my people.
Work this out.
Stop. It's rather commendable, actually.
You noticed something?
What's wrong?
Here, this is a map.
Brought up,
and
something that hasn't
pull
been
a fucking map out of this
since we brought it up.
Out of the glove box, and I point to where we're supposed to turn.
Boss who supposedly
point you to where my place is.
Not
started
right now.
half of this bullshit.
Just show us the route
and popped into Bethany and let shit
so
out
there's not
into the
on
world
the fly stuff.
and got us all infected,
really,
whatever the fuck we're infected with, so that we can't look in the mirror. That motherfucker.
Everything hurts.
How he
Yeah.
Okay, so we are okay with the fact that we figured
on his
out
way to
our
Shreveport and
is
can't
no
nobody
longer
find him no more.
actually amongst
I'm
us, and
honest.
it's
I'm
probably
betting he's an agent of
body
whatever
paste
weird
in the
ass
back
club Coleman was talking
of the
about.
trunk.
I am
But
not
we're
okay
okay
with it
with
Windows just
whatsoever.
like
I am not okay
Yeah,
with
'cause
that
ain't nobody
whatsoever.
mentioned him since we
And
mentioned him
we've pretty
on
much
their
figured out
itinerary.
that it
Mirrory
was one
was.
of those fucking Tremere that did that.
I'm pretty sure
So
Mirrory was
we
gonna
just got to figure out
eat
who,
that man,
and
but that
then put
does
them in the ground, deep
scream
in the ground.
if you put the paranoid light and lens of somebody looking for something. That does scream Tremere.
what if it's
I really
not?
pull back
What
on
if
traffic
Mary
and
is her own
carefully follow
thing?
directions to get us
I don't
to
really
Joji.
give a fuck about what Mirrory is.
Hopefully,
I
it'll
can
be
deal
easier
with
now that you
Mirrory's
know his
existence.
Well, that's just rude.
Oh, fuck. No.
The problem
No.
is how we've
Hello.
got so
The divan on
much
the far
shit
side of
going
the
on.
room, completely it's ensconced
Are
in
we
shadow.
still on board with the
There
plan to
is
kill the
a
prince?
woman roughly about
I don't
5'8",
know, man.
5'9",
I'm not sure I ever
clearly
was.
athletic,
But sure, yeah.
pale, almost
Let's
translucent skin. You can see the
Okay,
blue of her
all right.
veins
You know what?
there around
It's
the
fine.
ankles and rising up
In the
the
meantime, while
bottom
we're
portions of her
planning and
leg.
plotting, I need to
Her
figure out what the
fingertips
fuck happened to
immaculately
Clint,
painted.
or more specifically, who
Those are the only
happened
bits that
to
are
Clint,
visible
and we can
in what
add that
little
on the to-do list.
shimmering reflective light from the
So you
fall
want me to bring
fireplace
him
you
inside
all
your
were able to
place,
see.
or we leaving
That
him out
corner
here?
was completely dark a moment
It's
before,
fine. I'll clean up
but
his
her
mess when
skin
I'm done.
seems to absorb or more
And it would
accurately
be a
reflect some of
lot
the light
less
from the
worrisome for the
fireplace.
neighbors if I didn't have a jellified human being parked outside my place.
I didn't mean any offense by this. I just didn't think that you were part of the
I
problem that we're
think
trying to handle
you
right now.
are wise.
Oh, but I am. It all began with me.
Okay, not too
There
far
is a
now.
cost of doing business.
I am
that
the
every kindred
reason
understand.
the Tremere
True death
of
upon second
Shreveport
death upon the final death that
came
you
to
all face.
power. And if
All of the years
I
of your life,
am
all of the years
completely
of your
free,
unlife,
completely free,
all of the time spent
unlike
as an
mostly
ambulatory
free
corpse,
presently,
which is up to you relatively
I'll
quickly.
be able to stop them.
The older, the
You all can
longer
help.
you've outrun death,
Or not.
the
And I'll
faster.
get there eventually. Because
As the
they
one of
screwed
its
up
kind, your coterie
in their greed and their avarice.
survived through
They trusted the
several
wrong immortal.
approximate
And
portions
now,
of
as
life,
they spend
different
an
epochs of their existence,
ungodly amount
holding
of time
different faces
trying
they
to
present
break
to the
him
world at
and his
large.
already broken mind and
There's no
heart,
way that a
I get a
kindred
chance
who
to
had been a
strengthen
kindred
myself,
before you all
to
were
gird my
even
loins, to
dreamed of should be wet,
stretch
moist, squishy.
and limber up in preparation for what
It
comes
shouldn't be a
next.
moldering splotch of
And
semi-solid
what
viscous
comes next?
matter underneath all of the camouflage you all put into the back of that
War,
truck. Yet the truth of the matter
destruction,
lays plain
a
as part of that
divestment,
splotch that
and
didn't
all
go
of you little
forward out of the
bloodsuckers
bed
who
of the truck, out of the
supported,
rear of the truck,
helped,
onto the
profited
Nosferatu, splotched and splashed against the
my time
interior
being
rear
locked
window
away.
of the truck cab. Thick
What about those who
and gooey
didn't?
bits of
Oh, that
semi-solid
means, of course, I wasn't
flesh
speaking to you,
sliding
lovely.
down the window and into the rest of the camouflage material at the back of the truck.
I offer.
The problem with that is that it doesn't make any sense.
I extend
They'd been dead
an
longer
invitation.
than each of you
An official invitation,
had ever
not
been.
the trapped ramblings of a
And
mad
yet,
woman that I once was.
all the years of their existence
Not trying to paint with pictures.
seemed to leave them
Not trying to
in an
appeal to
over-ripened
your better good,
state,
your emotions.
like a whale beached.
No.
Seconds, moments,
What's your
days from
thought?
exploding as the gases
Form
of the
full
respirating meat
sentences now.
compounded
This
upon
is
itself, the gas
wonderful.
expanding the flesh until it
Well,
was
well,
as
bully for
dangerous, or
you,
is as
but
dangerous
we're
as
already stuck in the
Yes.
middle. So I don't really think we want to be,
into bone and meat,
another part of
Oh.
a gangbang.
blubbery flesh, and
I'm
We're
gonna be
already
entire
Oh.
contents of its
completely
stomach.
honest here.
Nice. That's a no from you. Excellent. I like decisions. This is fun.
And the
I haven't
mirror,
had the opportunity of speaking with my
always a
own
problem
lips in
for each
quite
of you, to the
some
point where
time.
India, much like Joji, does
If
not
you
have a rear view mirror inside their
if you
cab.
can make
Yet,
promises to us
flashing
that
the
you'll leave the
mirror,
people
you
of
all were
Bethany
privy to
alone,
its existence.
I don't
How
Oh,
it
I will
came
not.
to be.
Oh, I will not.
Another
They
impossibility,
are right
compounding
this
one
moment.
on top of the next.
Can you feel it?
Yes.
And that,
Silence.
Maddie, is how this
And then under
particular
that
ritual
silence,
should be
that
carried out.
deafening
It is
calm,
much like attempting to find a
that
butterfly's tear.
everyday nothing,
Nominally impossible, but
indulgent,
very easily done if you know
the
how.
anesthesia
You
of
grasp the basic components that you need,
moribund
and how best to
lives.
carry
There is an
the
energy and a
imagination into
vitality.
the reality
Their
of where you
prayers,
are.
their wishes, their wants, they are strengthening me. They are giving me the ability to do this. And she stands, and the moment that she stands, feet are clothed in shadow stilettos that turn into boots that rise up her knee. The shadows that were obfuscating and hiding her face, her upper
Ready?
arms and chest and
Support.
torso in complete darkness,
An inspiration.
slowly
Yes.
melding into
Each of the facets of the ritual are
form-fitting
part of
shift
a
that allows you to see just how
mental pursuit as
nubile
well.
she once was,
The
or might have been,
ingredients,
or
the
might be.
components
Who's to
help
say?
to focus those
And then her
energies
face slowly
within your
appears out of
vitae
all
and
of that
the
shadow.
ghost of what we once
Lovely,
were into
well-formed
the
chin,
reality of where we are now.
a
I'm
near
sure you've heard quite
aquiline,
often several
harmonious
members of the
nose, and
Chancery
two
remark
big,
on the
beautiful
bodiless
eyes
dead.
that stare with
We
all
have
the
bodies and
moonlight.
yet are still dead. We are not alive. And so
Hair
the powers of our thoughts
moving
equals
and
the power of
melding
our
into
actions. We
this
need some
long,
focus, some foci
nearly to
that helps
her
us to
knee
generate the
length
energy necessary to
black
draw it out.
hair. And the translucence of her
Realize
skin
that so that we might
takes
find
on
where
a
the victims of our
mirrored warmth
query
to that of the
originated.
sun.
You
There's
can discern whether
sand
one was a
falling and
child of the
flowing over her
moon or
skin.
the
A
earth-born
wan, very
spirits
red
given
lips a
flesh,
moment ago
or
are a
was the
deep,
creatures of dream,
almost purplish
the
red.
imagined realities
Gives
made
a
manifest.
little twirl
Or
as if
worse
she's
yet,
a
you can find as one of
sailor,
us, such as yourself
Jupiter,
or me or any of the others,
Venus.
the point of
You've seen the
origination,
Magic Girl
where the
transformations.
vitae that
It
has
is that, but
hoped
so much less excitement to it.
transfix
You
us
are
in
watching
this moment
a
of frozen time carried
Boudica
through each night
come to life in modern
originated from.
times. You are watching
With enough
a
practice and enough
warrior
focus,
queen
you
take
might
on
be
her
able to
raiment
even
and gird
discern
herself for
which
war.
tree, which
You are
branch
watching someone
that
who
vitae
is
originated, and trace it
guaranteeing
back to
to
its root,
bring
one
heartache and
step forward at a
pain
time.
to those who have kept her imprisoned.
Alright, so do I have to roll anything? Because despite the fact that Joji just insulted the Toreador clan, he is a Toreador.
He is, isn't he?
Through the woods, to the city streets,
Joji just kind of enamored as she's
across the veil. In some cases,
no,
there are
no,
places
I mean,
where the dragon.
don't
we'll get to
harm
that.
the
That's more
kindred
of an advanced
here.
study, I believe. But yes, you may track your prey, your
Now, why would I do? Well,
within range,
yes,
of course.
I will.
There was this
Not all of
tracker
Some of them.
some years ago,
Those who actively
originally from
sought.
the Seattle.
Not those who were used, not the
area.
patsies, not the fools, but those who made
Was
choices. You
profound
understand? That's
or
what this is
respected
all
at least
about.
as a tracker. of
They
sorts.
chose to
mastered
lock
this
me away.
one particular ritual to the point where
They
it
didn't
is-
have to.
for you, for
They
instance,
got
this may
nothing
take
from
anywhere
it
from 5
except
to
for the, well,
45 minutes to
death of
the
the
first few
previous
times until
blue
you
blood
have it down
and
pat, as they say.
his
And but
trusted
this
advisor.
particular
But besides
kindred,
that,
she
besides
was
that
in line to be a
altering,
region
besides
of her
that
chantry,
small
and
little
things
life,
went sideways. They were
they
asleep at the wheel,
gained
as it were.
nothing
No
from
matter the
keeping me
potential one has,
imprisoned.
it's all very much
They
what
kept
one applies
nothing
oneself
from it.
towards.
I gave them
So you have the gift
nothing
of
on
tracking and
purpose. I kept
sourcing
to
for
myself. I could have reached out
nothing
at
was done
any
with it, of course.
time.
Their
And all
chantry
I
fell,
needed
and Last I heard,
was
they were headed
one
somewhere out east, northeast to be. It's
one
like,
willing
carpetbag, sticking
to
to
open
carpetbag
themselves
areas of the
to me. One willing
nation in
to
which we live.
be
But yes,
honest
yes, you could track your
with
victim,
me
because that
and
is what they would be.
themselves. One
Your
willing to look into the
focus,
mirror and see
making
who they
them
were
a
and not blink.
prey.
One who would seek to not use an moment to escape, but to face all the horror that life gives on a nightly basis. Just one brave soul at any time could have freed me.
This
But
is a
as I
relatively
grew closer,
midly
after
sort of
so
ritual.
many years,
Why are you interested in this
I learned to
moment?
watch,
Considering all that
what was
might
happening.
you might be privy to,
I was denied
considering all the information that
several
you've been allowed to
thousand
absorb.
times a year.
Why this particular ritual now?
As everyone turned away from their own hideousness, unable to see the beauty in all of their mistakes. It is coming up on the Tremere's act. Because you understand that's what they do. There's an oath. There's a ritual. There's a celebration. And they want to make sure through sacrificing someone powerful, someone close to them, someone valuable to
Are
them.
you sure there isn't
To assure that their reign lasts
ulterior
another 100
motive?
years. Fools.
You're
And
not
I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. And I will burn down everything.
confident
I will help the crazy little
in your associates' drive
assassin, the little black fellow, do whatever it is that
be
he needs to do
assistive
because it will cause turmoil.
in
It will
what
cause
he's
chaos. It
doing.
will
How are you?
be honest in its attempts. And while yes, I could use more assistants, more associates, more honesty. I don't need you all. And a no is to be respected. But I thought it
Whose
would be
ties in
fair
particular
and
are
honest
you
to let you know
worried
my
over?
aims. My plans are my own, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Isn't that right,
So
India?
what? He looks over to India.
She's looking at Miri. You're not funny.
Ollie's enforcer is your coterie mate sire.
I think I am
Or
absolutely hilarious.
your
You develop a sense of
prince.
humor after a while. There's so many opportunities to practice your delivery, your lines, the weight
Why
in which you say things.
him? Why
Yes,
him?
Michael.
Why him?
Yes. Good leverage
Because
when
he was
there is
brave.
belief and faith in
If
others. Good
anybody
standing.
fucking else, but
Does not
I
necessarily
couldn't.
a factual consideration.
In his
As
dying
you
moments, he
understand,
mentioned
the vast
you.
majority of Bethanites are
He put himself at risk to
considerably
get his
lower
unit
regard.
to safety.
There's no reason to overly
He
worry over
put his
what
body out there, and
Prince
it was
Carlson
beautiful. The
Garcia
sun was
might
shining that day. The birds
eventually get
were
up to.
quiet. And
There's
even
not a
now,
political drive
even
in
now,
them.
in
They're
the
Prince because it
half-light
is,
of where he exists,
to be honest,
he calls out to you and tries to keep you from talking to me because he doesn't want
as
you to
high
know
as
that
they
he died
might
scared.
reach. A
As
small,
brave as he
lovely
was still afraid. He was afraid he
village
wouldn't be there to see you, to
masquerading
protect
as a
you.
town.
And he feels horrible about watching you
It's good to be
die.
prepared, of course.
So
But do
with
you
that
think
amount
that we
of love,
might
you can
need to
understand there
utilize
wasn't
that leverage
anyone
with
else I
more
could use to approach you.
control, so
And
that you
Lita,
don't have to
well,
hunt them across
we're not
the
going to
land?
talk about Lita. Lita just doesn't care about anyone, including herself. So there's no reason to approach her. She has to be spoken with and given the opportunity. Twice now she's told me no with emotion, but there's an option. You know, you can say yes now. You can be free of your sire, be free of their plans. You can help do something important and lasting. But you aren't good now, are you? How many lives have you ruined? How many countless hundreds of people stopped living because you refuse to simply go out and
To
bite
put a very
somebody.
fine point on the matter,
But I understand.
if you
No is
believe
to be
that they are
respected.
liability,
No is a no.
will stand in the way of
No is not a
progress,
maybe.
will
Although
stand
you
in the
know that
way
was
of
the
betterment of
commonality, that was the thought
sleep and
for a
its
very long
outlying
time. But no
domains.
was a maybe. That if they kept talking, you could
It
change your
falls
mind.
to
It'll
you to
count.
protect
That's
the
not the way
will
things
and
work.
wish of the Chantry.
That is
You
not the way
know
things work.
them. You are able to utilize your knowledge of them to ensure that
And
you are successful in laying them.
Jonathan.
But you have brought this
Jonathan.
to my attention.
Jonathan.
It is my unfortunate
Jonathan.
responsibility.
Or do you prefer Joji? That is
Bring
what
this
she calls
notice
you
to
so many times.
both the Primogen
That's what she
No,
calls
and
you
the
now.
Just
I can
I
perhaps
I don't
save
need
you
that
and grant you
right now. Please.
a full night so that you might
Oh.
tie up all
But
assurances.
why not? I can show you what
But
she's
that would be
doing
the most that I can
right
do. This is a matter of great
now.
import that we are
You can say
successful
yes.
in allowing
Yes.
the others to
Right now. Right
dispatch
this very
Johnson.
moment.
Have no
What are you
doubt that this is for the betterment
you
of the
join me?
Chantry and the city,
Who's the assassin that you're talking?
and
Who's
differing
you
values.
said somebody was already working with you? Are you talking?
So,
You
He
talking about
doesn't know it
Coleman?
yet. Yes.
what resources do
He
you
doesn't
need
know it
to
yet, but his
either
passion,
assure their
his
loyalty to
sense
the
of
plan
justice, his
and their
ethics.
position within it, or dispatch them?
I find it deliciously nonsensical. Someone who spends the entirety of their forever
Yes, but
breaking
then we
everyone
would
else's
be
taboos.
sparing
Someone who
potential
spends the
enemies.
entirety of their forever
So, this is a
testing
matter
and
that must be rectified before we move
assailing
forward.
the
Either verify their
ethical
loyalty to the plan
boundaries of
and
others.
assurances
Someone who
that
has
they will
made it their
complete their
business
portion of it, or dispatch them.
to pleasurably seek everyone else's quandaries.
What happens at that
Having
point
such a
is, of course, left to your
strong,
judgment, as you know them better than
indefatigable
You've spent enough time
boundary.
gathering intelligence on their behaviors and their pressure points.
It is.
Do go find them.
It is something.
This is your mission. This is your
It is something.
task. And I will
So, Indy,
provide a
will
stall
you join
before
me?
the
You listen to your
imam
brother.
and before the
Will
regent
you
and the
help
primogen decide
do
to
something good?
take notice.
Jonathan, will you
Lydia,
aid in the defense of your
directly
home and your
upon
people?
to-
Will you add your strength to their prayers and their fantasies when they stare into the mirror? Will you give up fighting what you are?
so long as the challenge doesn't require you to
Will
apply
you give
yourself.
up
Never.
doubting your strength? Will you join
Digging deep is not something that comes natural to anyone.
Indy?
No one wants to fight. Everyone
With
wants
me.
to win.
Because you know Indy is not going
It's a
to
natural
turn her
compunction.
back on doing what's right. You know, much like her
Even
brother,
amongst us,
as afraid
truly
of
deserve
the
it
dark
of
as she
forever.
is, she will
One day
run
soon, I
into it every
to
single
that we
time
might be able to
for
discuss
those that matter to her.
how we came into being, which her magic aura
Will you?
was the foundation of all of that lovely glory within
Or
this static reality. That's another matter for
is
a
Annabelle
different
right about
conversation. For
the
now,
entirety of the rest of
are
your
there any
force?
resources you need to complete your task?
That you don't care about anyone, including yourselves. Nothing and no one matters, save your ability to say no. All of you all with your own myriad of issues boils down to that.
Yes,
I'm hoping
understood.
that she's
The
not
city
right.
is
As
quite large
honest as
and
she has been.
easily
I'm hoping that
confusing
she's
to
not. I'm hoping that
others.
more of you
But
will
as you've
turn towards your
associated
true
with them and
nature
you've been to
and
their
say
havens here in the
yes.
city, it's
Here's
expected
the
that you would understand where they might be.
Here's the official invite.
You promise not to harm Mary or Coleman.
Wasn't there a central location of one of your members that you all utilized? Didn't you understand? Didn't you?
Your prince.
You were seeing
She is
that
wild.
the toreador.
When she stares into a mirror
here, as
she
well as
sees
the
herself as
Hakadas.
she is.
So
Unlike most, everyone's
which
seeing other
haven or
members.
which
Everyone's seeing their
location you
past or
would
what they
be
hope to be or
pursuing
what they
is
want to be. When
entirely
she
up
looks
to
into the
you.
mirror, she sees herself. She
Do you
sees
need any
who
other
she
assistance or
is.
tools
She doesn't mourn her
to
loss too
assure
often.
your
She
society?
sees all of that lovely dead flesh. She sees all of that feral ferocity. She looks into her
Excellent. So I look forward to
eyes. Every time she
hearing
looks
your
into a mirror,
report.
do you know that 80%
No
of the
later than
population
midnight tomorrow.
are unable to meet their own eyes for longer than 3.5 seconds when staring into the mirror? Not her. That's the first place she looks.
As Maddie leaves
And
her
she
sire,
holds a longing gaze.
to which haven
She looks into the
associate
truth
her
of who
friends
she
of her
is, and she
coterie
doesn't
was she
turn
had?
away.
That's
And then she goes out and does something.
that's great. That's not a yes, Mary. Do you promise to not harm the people I love?
Oh, I would never harm the people you love.
It sounds like a plan.
You all do
Heading
that all
to
the time.
Joji's haven here.
You keep
Bridgeport.
secrets. You
This little
misrepresent the truth. You outright lie.
comparatively
You
small
run from what you
shop of
are.
operation.
You choose to do nothing.
Foothold into
You
and
hurt
onto the
those
grand
that
stage
matter
of
to
Indra
you
society,
far more than anyone else ever could.
as you had there.
Have truth spoken with the full chest.
India, Joji, Lena, and Annabelle
Illusions
finally
painted
arrived.
with truths that apply to
The
everyone but you.
squished portion
The
of
inability
their
to
coterie
say the
member
simple
laying in the
words
back of the
of
space. What do?
I'm sorry.
I spent the last
See, this is what I keep
several
trying to
months
tell you
wanting-
in therapy.
Not.
I am going
Up.
to, pull out the good old
The-
ring and
The room that we're
kinda
in.
just
Is there a mirror
go around the
like
side there. I don't wanna
reflective
be bringing this to
surfaces
the front door.
that can easily be
Not-
moved?
And he'll kind of hop out the back
Not
of
a
the
one.
in the bed of the truck and
He
walk
came
his
through
way
the
up
Which
fire.
is
to
the troubling part.
kind of larger side
There
door
aren't
meant
any
for
mirrors
bringing in
in
shit
this
that can't really
room.
go through the front.
It's the reflection.
There aren't any.
Pop it open. I've got some
There aren't any pictures
plastic
that are
tarping that we
behind
can wrap
glass.
him in.
There are
I
no
guess
cell phones.
I-
There's
We should have left
nothing
him on the fucking
reflective
roof.
in this
on
room.
the roof.
And yet
Yeah, for the
she's
sun.
here. And she's speaking directly, not through
He's already.
facsimiles or avatars or
I don't.
hidden meanings based on
I don't
emotionality.
think the sun does
She's
anything to us
speaking
once
to
we're,
you
like,
all
dead.
directly.
Can't hurt. Maybe it'll
Is Joji just?
purify him or something.
I just need
Sure,
the promise,
we can
Murray. That's
test
it.
that theory, but like, what happens if one of the
No, tarp first. We'll get him in. I'm
So
not
we have a
sleeping with
deal
that thing
if you have
in
my
the same
promise.
place.
Like the
Not
same
a
building?
good idea.
Well, certainly not
What's
inside
the other
the
options?
same.
Stay unaligned with her? Leave her to harm those that I care
Uh.
about whenever she feels like it?
he kind of just rolls up.
She is going after
doors, like,
our
"Look,
enemies.
You're not gonna
She
have
is.
to
Enemies that we
fucking
really
spoon
can't
the
handle on
corpse."
our own.
Okay, you really want that to be
We're
in
expendable
your haven
pieces
with you?
in a burgeoning war. You said
I-
it yourself, Maddie. You're
Have
worried that we
have
won't make
you
it out of it.
I
paid
have
attention to how fucked we've been lately?
You won't.
I want to bring your attention
The traitor
to
and your
fact that I
myth
have
will
seen
eventually reveal
something
themselves.
far
By that time, it'll be too
worse
late for you all to do
comparatively
anything
tonight.
more than just watch in
Yeah,
shocked
but that
amazement.
fucker's not staying in the house.
Later.
Okay, fine. I'll get a container for
Regardless.
him or something until we
Do
can bury
you
him.
promise not to harm those that I love?
Thank you.
Do we have a deal if I promise? I always keep my word.
He says as he
I can't
walks
say the
into
same
the
for
building.
everything else.
Oh shit.
You'll get the answer you're looking for if I get mine.
Shit.
What?
Very well.
What? What now?
On the absence of all things that exist
Do I need to
before
come
and
back
after
outside? Is everything
what
okay?
you recognize as time. On the
It's okay.
entire weight
Finger.
of oblivion itself,
Move.
bound by the promise of hope,
Wait, what? He says as he comes back out.
I will
He
not take
moved?
any
You see what I mean? Not
arms
sleeping in the same place as me.
towards the pain
Wait, if he
of
moved,
any
that's great. That's
individual
actually a great
that
sign.
actually matters to you.
Here, help
Nor
me
will
get him in.
I assist in
Oh,
harming
God.
those associated with those that matter to
If you
you.
not want to,
I will spare
buddy,
those that matter to you
I don't know
the
either. But
entirety
as far
of
as I'm
my
aware, like
wrath,
Clint was,
my
unless
wrath,
this
and my
isn't Clint, but
absolute
it looks too
enmity
close to Clint.
for so
Yeah, I don't think
long
it's them anymore.
as you in good
I
standing
remember when I was
aid,
saying last time,
assist,
this is
and
not your
avail
friend,
me
this
of your
is a
services.
trap.
Yeah.
Yes, still true.
Okay, is it going to
So
start, like, is the
long
corpse going to get up and start attacking me? Is that what you're assuming?
as the
Yes.
assistance,
What, do you want me
the
to just set
aid,
it on
and the
fire out
services
here?
that you require do
Yeah,
not
you got a
work
fire pit?
against my goals,
We're in Texas. Everybody has a fire pit.
this
Okay, that's
city,
You
or the
never know with
people
this
I
Shreveport
care about,
bullshit.
in your words that matter to
Alright,
me.
fuck,
Yes,
well, at least help me carry him
he
around
says with a
back. And then we can
renewing
just, I
of his
guess, fucking
tears.
light him up. Hey, India, do you think you'd go inside and look for my petroleum can?
Boom, 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 boom,
It's a
boom,
kind
boom,
of
boom,
brownish,
boom,
was once red, but is
boom,
no
boom,
longer
boom.
can in there, the metal one.
Indeed.
She's kind of had
You
been
know you're
sitting
going to
there
fight.
with her knees to her chest, tears just pouring, listening to the back and forth between
Okay, well,
Joji and Yuri.
You
But
want
once Joji
me to
says
help you?
yes, she's
Sure,
not
I'll
going
take
to let
an
him
ankle.
go into
Like,
the trenches alone.
Annabelle is like the weakest person you know.
So,
Like,
what
physically.
exactly do you think I am, Doc? I'm not like, oh, I should be down.
You should have
nod
sent
their
me
head,
in for the petroleum and had India carry this thing.
whispers
She's the
yes.
strong
I
one.
can't have India fucking manhandling a corpse. It's nasty.
Oh, really?
So be it. So spoken,
I mean,
so intended,
oh
so
my God, at
said with
least
the
they'd be
weight
able
of
to
our
lift it.
hearts.
I mean, you can participate.
Welcome to the
Yeah, if it's
family.
gonna get this thing out of here, I will participate.
I mean,
Tonight,
who knows? Like, it might fall to pieces, and then you can transport it bit by
the
bit.
remainder of it,
Either way, just come on. Like, we gotta
as the
fucking
balance
move
of
it
your
before it
time,
wakes up.
as free agents.
And
Tomorrow,
she attempts to help.
the war. Make
With
your
her one
peace,
strength
because there will be no peace for those that stand against us.
and her 0 athletics.
For those who align themselves, for
Yeah,
those who support, those who aid with silence or action,
she just kind of.
are now and forever our
Oh, what is
enemies.
this? What is this?
And we will give them no rest, no
no.
quarter. We
I
will
don't like that
ask for no
result.
mercy
Wait a second.
and give
When did I
none.
roll?
125 years
Yeah, you got rolled 4.
Oh no.
and not one day more. It is a lovely night, despite leave you how to it. I understand there's a party. The beginning and she and the middle begins moving towards the have worked door. Out for you. As all. She moves, her high-heeled boots become combat trekkers of the soft-soled waffle semi-solid combat boots. Bits her of person that's left. Because as you go for to take the arm and pull the military
chest
spec
and
urban
wherever you
ensemble.
can
Hands a
of the
little baggier than
wholeness
they
of the
should
body
be.
forward.
The crop top
The
far completely outside of
forearm
any sense
separates
of
from
military
the
decorum.
elbow.
But the jacket is such a fetching little thing.
The
It's leather
moist
around the neck and
suede
is
betang
reinforced in all of the
tinged
right places for
and
stretching and
soaked
mobility.
hand in
But it's
yours
rolled
is surprisingly
mid
warm.
forearms. She's wearing fingerless
Not
gloves,
that
and there's this
cold snail-like gel of mucus. It's the very
array that
warm
appears
sweat
on
of
her head. Her
exertion
hair immediately,
in the palm of your
instantaneously
hand,
going into
holding
a
on
tight
to the
bun
left
at the base of her
forearm
neck.
with the wrist connected
See
to
you all
the
tomorrow.
rest of the
And she
hand and
actually
the
bothers to walk
sinews and
out the
tendons
door.
that were once connecting the forearm to the elbow and down the rest of the arm, swinging freely. Droplets of
Wait, did
blood
you step out of the
emptying
reflection and walk out the door as a person?
the vessel that you're holding onto the ground beneath your feet.
She walked
No.
out
Luckily
of
for
the
you,
room
you know, it's
present.
not hard packed dirt and it's not gravel. It's actually a concrete
She didn't step out of a reflection.
No, she stepped out of the
drive that
shadows,
you're
not a
standing
reflection.
on top of. And thankfully,
Kind of.
that's a little easier to
Okay,
spray down and hose down, save where it hits the concrete. There's almost an immediate
that was fucked
brown
up.
staining as if the
I
blood
would
is
very much
older
like
than
to
the
go
concrete
see
itself.
my
It's been
loved
allowed to
ones,
sit for
since
years in
apparently
the
this
sun,
is
baking
the
into the
last night
concrete.
of relative
Outside
peace
of
we
that,
have
it's an easy to fix thing. The
for a
scent
long, long while.
of Kindred Vitae, its irony melon sweetness reaches your nose, and there's a understanding as to there really is no point in it
Tomorrow, I
all
guess
going to
we'll
waste.
make
After all, it
the
is still
plan.
mostly fresh and
India. Do
the
you
drip,
have time
drip,
for a
Driving,
conversation?
drip of it.
driving back to
How
all the
did
way
the
to
body
Bethany
get so
tonight,
much of Vitae in it?
just to
Normally,
Sure.
when you all
talk to them or
see
what we doing?
when you meet your final
I mean,
moment,
I don't know. It just
everything
depends on.
begins to dry and desiccate,
It just
much like the
depends on
body
what
would have
Miguel
been
is
or
up to.
would if it had been allowed to
Not that
sit
other
where
Miguel.
you all take your
Are you not
last
going
and
to say
final
goodbye
tour
to
around this
Asher?
mud ball. It's as if the body had been there the entire amount of time that the kindred had been
I
around.
kind of.
Yet this holding what you're holding in your hand, there's easily
Oh, that bitch never showed me what Kalen was up to.
6
God damn it!
pints of the stuff just splattered all over the bed of the truck,
That guy just
dripping
strikes
from
him and throws the rest of his
separated
train of
forearm in
thought
your
out the
hand.
window. I didn't word it right. God. No, I'll see Coleman. I'll say goodbye to Coleman. But
Baby doll, you would never gonna word that right. She is an entity that we couldn't possibly understand. You knew.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, like, I'm not exactly a
where's
slave.
the fire pit?
She accepted my
thing.
wording. She
Did-
accepted my
The dirt
wording.
over there, the
So
ones
long
around
as
the
I,
stones.
whatever she's asked me to do doesn't go against my goals or plans, I'm good to go.
I guess. All right, let's drag it over there, and I'll
You
come
don't
back for the arm.
think such thing as mind control
Yep.
where she can make you think your goals
You
are
know-
her goals?
You being a
She
doc,
also
I
said that
thought
she
you'd be a bit
wouldn't
more used
move
to this
against
than I
or
am.
harm anyone I care for.
I'm not that
I
kind
care
of
for myself.
doctor. Do you? When have I ever taken
Annabelle,
you apart?
Doctor, not
Except,
right the foot now.
mentally.
Psychoanalyze me
to
from a
say.
safe distance with a very quiet voice.
Okay, well,
No, I have to
anyways,
agree with the doc.
Okay,
you said
you know
you
what?
can't really
Actually,
do too much on this
fuck
side,
it.
so if
Since
you just want to go
we're
get the arm,
already
I'll
in a
try
bad mood
hoist the
and
rest of
you're
him over there.
getting on to me. What the fuck did you know about my house going up in flame?
Weirdly, like,
I didn't know shit about it.
is plushy the word? No, plushy's not the word.
Thumbs over to India. She says otherwise.
Please stop lying, because when you said
Bloated?
that shit, I
No.
smelled the lie.
I don't know how to
on
describe
you.
it. I'm going to
You
stop
were
thinking
keeping
about
shit to
describing it. I'm just
yourself
going to power through
about
it.
what they said to you. So whether you
sounds
realize you
like one of
knew
the smartest
or
things
don't realize you knew, somebody said something, and you knew it, and you
Jello.
came
There we
there
go. That's a good descriptor.
and didn't
Yeah.
warn
I did not
anybody.
have to
Just
say
put
that.
that in the gas can.
Because as far as I knew, the danger wasn't around yet. Because their whole thing, at least when I scuttled along
Fuck
after
you,
my training,
India.
was to make sure
Oh, damn.
that the deal was still in place, 'cause we're all disposable.
Yeah,
Reminding
so
you that
I
you
grab the
agreed.
arm, doing my part
Kind of looks over
So
to India
you,
again.
With his parts.
they told
with
you
his
that something
parts.
was fitting to
Well, just kind
happen,
of
but you thought you had more
loosely.
time
With the
until they were going to enact whatever it
open
was.
end up to like maybe
But
contain
you
some of
still
the
knew they were
gross
fitting to fuck something up.
blood that's not gross
Yeah,
enough.
if you
It should be
didn't
much
agree
grosser.
to go along with the
Have you
deal
thought
that you
about
agreed
trying
to.
it?
No, I
It,
mean, yes,
it
but
So
Yeah,
no.
really
y'all think they
should
that
be.
jumped
why
the
the
gun
fuck
just a
It
little
really
bit?
should be more
why the fuck would they do
disgusting. It should be
that
more
if they
off-putting
were
than it
sending me to
is.
try to
The
convince
constant
y'all?
blip, blip,
Doesn't
blip
make sense,
as
does
the
it?
droplets land
It don't.
on
That's
the
why
concrete
it
and
looked
onto the
like you
plastic
ain't had
canvas
shit to
that
do with
the
it.
tarp
But
that
at
you
the
all
same
have
time, we were all caught on
is
fire.
far
I
too
never
Yeah,
really
They were
me
checked in the
too.
trying to do
intoxicating because
building.
it
something.
reminds you of when you
And I'm
were
not sure why they would set
far
me on
younger than
fire
you
if
are
they were
now.
trying to remind you of
And
your deal.
the
But that's
ice cream
fine.
truck really wasn't an
I
ice
can
cream
skedaddle
truck. It
out of
was
here.
more of a slushy
You
snow
think, you
cone
think.
truck.
I
And so
don't
you
care.
get your flavor of choice in that thick, saccharine sweet
How's
syrup
that?
hitting that
What you guys
ice
just
would
did?
cause
Bad
you to
fucking
get
idea.
It does
hotter. The
make
excitement of the
sense.
truck and the vendor in and of
Got to
itself, the
follow
run
through.
across someone's lawn or down the
They don't
block to where it
trust
was
you. They
sitting
don't trust
and
us.
serving its
So
snow
they
cones
figured if
and
you
ice
told us,
cream treats with
then
the bubble gum
whatever.
inside.
But if you didn't tell us, then that proved that you were on
It
their
was the
fucking
syrup.
side
It was the sweetness of the syrup
and got
with
caught
the
up in the
heat
bullshit
of the
right along
world
with us.
around you,
So they
knowing
had
that
no
you're
faith that you could talk us into anything.
dissipate
And that's why you
instantly. The
got there
moment that you
and
had
everything
that
fucking
snow
went to
cone,
hell.
the moment you had that cup and could sip all of
Yeah.
that cooled,
Didn't want to go
frosty
out on a limb and
syrup,
say
that
probably
sweet
something
goodness
else.
that would cause your fingers to be sticky for hours afterwards.
What else?
The syrup that would stain your
Seriously,
tongue
you
all
watch this
sorts of
man
colors
full
based on
on
which syrup
fucking
you
fall
had.
apart, losing
That
everything that mattered to
delicious
him.
sweetness.
But yeah, as Annabelle
And
makes it
he
Yeah,
back
knew
to
who
the
us
hasn't
fire
been
pit,
there in
coming.
that
Joji is
place?
licking one of his fingers.
Joji,
What?
Everybody's lost something.
what? Why
Important
did you
or
eat it?
otherwise.
I mean,
Maddie,
But ain't
if they
well,
set
nobody
that
else
burn
had
it.
place on
Might
full
as well
fire,
warning
taste it a
that it
little
was
bit.
coming.
if they set that place on fire, knowing that you were going there,
Listen, remember when I
they
said
sent
this
you to
is a
die.
trap?
Except
Now
it exploded before we got there.
you go
Or she got
over
there. I
there
was chained to the fucking
and
pole.
tie yourself up or something.
Sorry about that. I really did not expect that to be a
Okay.
thing.
Don't worry, none of us did.
Getting the
Well,
body into the fire pit shouldn't be as
apparently one of us
easy as
did.
it is.
Think
Luckily,
about
with
the
it
fact that if we hadn't
falling
stopped where we stopped,
apart
we would have all been
from being
inside and
splattered
comfortable when that shit blew
by
up.
the Nosferatu makes things
The Tremere are just
easier.
saying that we're useless to them. That's
All too easy.
what
Like
that
cords
means.
of wood
He tried to fucking kill me.
you can just stack and arrange into the
Yeah, you
fire
take
pit.
too much on blind faith.
Honestly,
And
I
India,
do. That's the goddamn
what many people
problem.
don't realize
I don't
about the animals
trust my
around you
paranoia
all that
anymore.
avoid you all
I trust
is that each
you people.
group, each
Yeah, well,
swarm
clearly
It's
you
got
don't.
me.
of rats
I
has a
did.
different
I
accent.
did. I did.
Each
I
grouping of
didn't even.
raccoons, they carry a
Oh, he
different
did.
dialect, and
He
each
I
did.
didn't even look into your.
group of
Oh,
white-tailed
Whatever.
deer have a
Whatever.
different
You know what?
patois
No,
that
it's
they
fine.
use.
I'm gonna head out.
It's
I'm gonna
their
go home.
regional
Y'all call me in the
dialects and
morning.
vernacular, and the language is the same but
She will get up
completely
and
different
walk out.
from one portion to the next. For instance, the horses that have
As
grown
Maddie
accustomed to you, that
stands
let you near, they
and
speak with more
prepares
of
to
a
leave, does
French
Lita
styled draw.
have
It's
premonition?
Does
Does Maddie have premonition?
versus the ones that you've all imported from Texas and Oklahoma and farther west. I speak a
Negative.
little slower, and it's things like that that you notice in the language of the night around you all. It makes certain understanding a little more difficult because occasionally you'll get a Lita?
owl or a bat or a night thrush that has come from Oklahoma or Arkansas
they do.
or has
Haven't they had them
come
before?
west from Mississippi or Alabama, and it has a different dialect.
I
And
forget
the sounds of the night,
right at this particular
those animal
moment.
noises that everyone looks past, are things that you notice. Shreveport sitting where it is, having a hodgepodge of night languages and the animals around you is nothing
You should give her
new.
one anyway.
You've grown annoyed by
That'll
it,
be surprising.
and you've noticed it, but there's nothing you
It
could do
would
about
be.
it. But why are you hearing
Maddie, don't. As she's walking away, just
the best you can put your finger on
don't
it?
forget that you have enemies within the Tremere as well.
East Coast, like movie New York, East Coast from the late
She'll
60s and
pause and
70s. With
turn
the
her head back
must.
over her shoulder. Yeah, I'd known that from day one. They made sure I understood that.
What? What?
And why is it so strange to you that they
That
might
would make her stop and look around
tell
like,
you
"Fuck?"
it's gonna happen later and then just burn the place down the moment you get there? The gasoline was coming out of fucking sprinklers. Sorry, not gasoline. That would have been
Say
too
something
quick of an
again.
accelerant. No, they wanted a long, slow burn.
Now, do you try to
As much
return
like you,
in the
I
language
refuse
of
to
that
believe my
particular
fire
animal,
don't care about me.
which was a
And she'll keep
night
walking.
bird?
Yeah, she's it's
Maddie,
weird because like when you go to a
I'll
Japanese
call you
restaurant, you
tomorrow.
speak Japanese. You got to speak Japanese real good
No, if she wants to side with
before
them,
they
she
give
can
you any
side with
sort of
them.
respect. But animals,
I
it's
don't
just like,
care.
oh, she's trying.
They're all gonna die
So,
anyways.
yeah, she tries to answer back.
Gloriously.
Not glorious. Not, no.
So, as you all pile bits and pieces
If you
of
want to
your
call her
former
tomorrow, you
coterie
can.
mate on into the fire pit, and Annabelle, you begin chewing Joji away because he's licking
I'm
all
done
that
getting
What
out of
melony
is
here.
sweet goodness.
what is
And
Maddie's
Lita, as per her pocketbook
wits
and the
plus
life that she's
insight
grown accustomed to,
total?
watches as you all work.
Wits
India
plus
begins
insight, 4 or 5 if you
whistling,
include just
but it's
athletic
not a
specialty.
whistle so much as it is the call of a black crowned night heron. Though
2.5.
her
Okay.
pronunciation,
As you
it's a little
touch
off.
the doorknob,
It's the
mirror
look at you. You're
used
trying.
open
Well,
to exit.
you understand what I'm saying?
None of your coterie
the
members
conversation begins to
were
pick up.
attempting to
Who you
lie.
talking? Who you talking to? What? You lucky I don't. And
There's
so they're
something
going back and
that
forth. Her
smells
and whatever bird is out there that she's whistling and warbling and
lying.
interacting
There's
with.
a micro expression. There's small little tells that begin emanating. And while the kindred are dead,
and
there are
so
still
as India
telltale
is warbling and
giveaways,
whistling,
remnants and ghosts
you're
from their living
stacking
days that
the
sticks with them.
party parts are
And while you
squishing
don't
like
get the
bags of
full-fledged
water
flop sweat
that are
or
leaking
the
all
other
over your hands and all
secretions
over your
from the
fingers,
body,
that
when you
melony goodness
lie as a kindred,
tickling and tingling the
it
nose.
takes years for those
It's one of those
small
things
little tells to
your
disappear.
tongue
Those
knows what this tastes like. Your
bits of
soul knows
dishonesty
how
that are woven
good it
into
would be
most
to.
conversation.
Well, it's going to go to waste anyway.
All of
The
that to say
5 or
that
6
truth
pints
can
that we're
be
spilling out and
quite
dribbling all over the
illuminating.
place are down to like 3, maybe 3.5
What's
pints
Maddie's
that are
intelligence?
actually in those various limbs and
Her
parts. But
intelligence
that's still 3
is
pints
3.
that you could
Oh, fuck.
not let go to waste.
Everyone assumes that
And Maddie, arriving at Joji and the scent
because
of
numbers
kindred
don't
decay
lie,
all
it
over the
means that they
place,
are
what would be the first
always
thing that you consider?
accurate. Numbers don't lie. As long as the equation entered is correct. As long as the steps are followed. There's no way with an above average intelligence that Maddie doesn't see the writing on the wall. Let's do a quick calculation.
Oh, you can definitely hear them.
Her actions.
You can hear them around the side of the building,
Her
in
most
the backyard.
declared rival was shamed by the prince of Bethany. Do her actions and the actions of her coterie, her most ardent rival, was grievously
Joji
wounded
being
and had to be
fucking
taken to the
or
Chantry in
handcuffing
Shreveport to
himself
mend.
to one of the drains coming down
Due
the back of
her
the building, the kind
coterie's
of like
arrival in Shreveport
metal pipe. It's like,
later,
oh,
after the mending,
you're.
her
I
arrival was
did not expect
again
to see you tonight. The
outshone
click,
by
click,
their
click, click,
ability
click
to
as
fight
he
for their
tightens
lives.
the
And
cuff.
then weeks later,
Welcome.
through all the right channels, which
Yeah.
is easy enough to do when you are the adjutant to a regent. Through all the right channels,
The doctor
she was
asked me
given
to.
a task to go and ensure the loyalty of her coterie members who are not Tremere.
I mean, I have the
Yeah,
keys.
we'll bring him in.
If she was successful,
I also
and
have
she
the
had
keys.
managed to prove their honesty in upholding their terms, there wouldn't have been
Oh,
the
that's
allowance
Clint. Or
for
what's left of
others
Clint.
to intercede and
That is the
trigger
reason
the
for the
death trap.
handcuffs.
He honestly,
But
really,
there was no
it's
way
a
that death
weird
trap was triggered
sensation.
by accident.
What
Unless,
did
of
he
course, they
taste like
knew
anyway?
or suspected
Taste good?
certain persons
Give it a try.
to be inside the building
What?
and fighting free to escape across the flaming
I mean,
yard.
you are weird, but
Death
we all
in
are.
and death out.
And
It's
honest,
Now, being
it's
a careful Tremere exposed to how the Chantry
India should be out here
operates.
soon with the
When
gas,
you
and then we
are
can just
declared an
say goodbye to
anathema,
Clint.
an outsider, a rogue, an outcast, there are
Is
steps
the
taken to make
bird
sure that no
telling me
matter which
anything
way you
interesting?
turn, the outcome is still the same.
It's trying to get to the Everglades.
Now, here's the question.
I wanted to stop by and see his family
How did
on
Maddie
the Gulf
get here?
Coast and decided to swing this way
What
because there was something calling into
manner
the
of
area. And
transport
it's been
did she take?
5 days and it still can't really quite figure out, like, should
would
it
have
go
been her drink.
to the left, to go back the way it came.
And how
But
is she
then
planning on
there's
leaving
all of
here?
the owls that were, working with the ravens in the area, which,
The
is
obvious
kind of
answer would
really
be her
weird. They
truck.
thought they had a blood debt between them, but the owls and the ravens have been making sure that no
So
bird
if she shuts
flies
the
up
door
out of
down
the area. So
with their
no sense of being attacked, just
truthful
being a fucking
admissions
incident.
and
Like, I'm minding my
considerations
own
sitting there
fucking
before
business,
you,
and
with the
then all
ability
of a
to
sudden they just come
honor
out.
your no,
And he's going
as it
on
were.
and on and on.
That's crazy.
Annabelle looks at Jody.
Have you ever
and
thought of just
says,
getting in, like, on a car or something, and just like riding in the back of the car,
she might
or
still
on
trust her sire, but that doesn't mean the rest of them are
the trunk of a
trustworthy.
car, so that you're not flying, and then they can't attack you?
As far as I can see it, Annabelle, all the
think?
Tremere, Shreveport,
A 4.5 foot
die.
tall me gonna get on the back of a guy?
And if
Not anybody
she's
fucking
decided
noticing?
that
It's
she's a
bad enough they're
Tremere
gonna
of
have to
Shreveport,
fucking lay low here with all of these
fuck
owls
it.
and ravens working together to make sure
Then
none of the other
don't
birds
harm
leave the
the
area.
guy.
It's just ridiculous.
What?
Hates her though.
The bats I don't mind; they're just
The
noisy. But
redhead guy that was
the owls,
yeah, he
they
hates
could be
her.
anywhere. They just pop out of
So why
nothing.
wouldn't he set her up?
I don't fucking know. You're the one that told me she was
That
lying
is
about not
weird.
knowing that my house was gonna explode.
Well, I got something
And
to
she
do,
was,
but it was
remember?
nice meeting you. And she turned
Nice meeting you too.
And we agreed.
towards the back
Maddie's
of
out by her
the
truck now. And we agreed the next time that she
house.
did something that showed she
Gets
was on
back
their
there.
side and not
At
ours,
first,
they'd
not
be putting her on the
noticing that
ground.
Maddie's here, but she looks to the other two. So, did you know the owls and the ravens are fucking working together somehow to keep other birds from leaving the state once they come into the state? They're like attacking things. It's crazy.
I don't know.
I mean, I noticed that they've been attacking other birds,
Hey,
Let's give her till tomorrow. Let's.
I did not notice.
If she comes back, if she answers the call, I'll take that as her
well,
siding
the
with
thing would
us.
be is
She knows
if they were
my
attacking
plan. She knows
some
my
sort of like
disposition.
heron thing.
If she's with them, she'll fuck off.
They're attacking herons, and then they're probably attacking pelicans too. Do we
I
have
think that's
pelicans around
reasonable.
here? I don't fucking know.
I mean,
Fine. That's what you want to do. We can do it that way.
no, actually, Maddie, there is like a singular pelican up here.
I don't
It's
What?
owned by
Want
Ed up the street. He takes
to
care of
hurt
a
a
bunch of
friend.
birds.
Is there
Honestly
another room
think
in
he
this cabin, or
captures
is it
them in
just
a
a big
wild and then
one-room
brings them
cabin
back.
with like a bed in the
I
corner?
feel kind of. He's like a crazy bird guy.
That's fucked up.
Where you all are is
It
the
is,
conversation
especially
pit.
being as
It is the
Maddie
center
is a
room of this cabin. And while the amenities are not up to
Bethany.
standards of
And what that
the
means,
Ritz or the Allerton or the
hunting
Palmer
comes
House,
natural.
it is
And not natural in the way that you would think. It's not something passed down through the genes, though there is that genetic memory.
most
times that your old
persons
man went
in
hunting all
Bethany's
the time.
means
Clean the
of
catch,
comfort.
the clean the
There are
kill.
several
There is the understanding
lightless
of the
rooms
very fragile nature of
off
the
this
ecosystems
center
around you.
conversation pit, off
So
this center room. Each of them
the
with
growing
their
anger
few steps down into the space, the
at someone
place where the
misusing an
long
ecosystem,
windows that
the
fill the
growing
entirety of the wall
anger
should be.
as to
Those
what that
small
might mean, because that's
1
effectively
foot by
cheating.
9 foot long
Ravens
windows
are smart enough to actually stalk their prey as a group,
are light boards.
to use
They're
tools to harass and
literally
harangue.
recessed lighting.
They
So that
never
it
work
appears
with
you can set it for a sunset
species
setting,
outside
a
of themselves.
sunrise setting. You can change it
Not
to a
bird
deep
wise, anyway. They'll
blue.
work with
You can change
wolves.
it
They'll
to
work
purple.
to
It
help
is
the wolf
the best place to
succeed in their
sleep if
hunt,
you
but
are
they won't work
averse
with
to
other
light.
birds. Birds, as far as they're
And there
concerned,
are
are for the
exactly
birds.
7 of those
And then
rooms, wide
combining
enough to
with
be
the skill of
luxurious,
owls
small
to
enough to be
silently
intimate,
swoop through
and
the air,
designed
having
for
ravens give out
cool afternoon
strike
sleeps.
locations, guiding other birds into traps laid by owls who can seemingly
Jade
appear
gets
out of
to her feet
nowhere
and pulls Joji up to
soundlessly.
his feet. You said you wanted to talk. Let's go.
That's the exact sort of thing that is the
I mean,
definition of cheating.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
what
the
I was wanting to
definition
talk about has
of
pretty much
playing
already been
outside of the
aired. I'm more
boundaries
than
of the
happy he
rules.
just follows along.
So that small
Dragging him by his hand.
scent
He
of
picks the
fire
first room she sees that seems
of an
unoccupied.
ember, the cornite flesh reaching your
He
nose,
just kind of shuffles,
having you look left and right, and slowly taking in your surroundings.
Lost what I was thinking.
Is inciting. It's effectively you stubbed your mental,
Speaking of lost,
emotional,
Maddie,
spiritual
standing
toe,
there with your hand
as if
on
someone
the doorknob,
set a
considering
group
the
of spiritual
1100
Legos
different
out for you and
ways
made you walk across them with freshly exfoliated
these small fragmented
souls.
puzzle pieces align.
You understand
Easily overhearing the conversation,
the very real
pit in the center of the room, in the center of
attacking
the
from an
building.
angle, throwing a rock and hiding your
Knowing,
hand. You very
let's
also
just be perfectly honest.
understand you are at Joji's house.
As long as there's going to be a bureaucracy within the
Joji's a
chantry,
Toreador. A new Toreador.
you're the first on every suicide mission.
The new Toreador.
If you survive tonight,
that
you are
heard
sure
so
that
much about
the level
not
of
more
difficulty
than a few hours
thrown in your general
earlier.
direction will escalate exponentially.
Very nearly
Truth is an amazing thing. You can hide so
2:56
much with it.
in the morning.
And yet here you are, with the truth sitting there before you.
Can I uncuff myself now?
I don't know. Are you feeling like you're gonna turn into goop?
No. Because Clint is goopy, or was goopy.
Because he ate
No.
some fucking goop.
What do?
I tasted. I sampled.
She is
No, I do
going
not
to
know.
do as she
I
said
don't also
and
know.
go home because
Well,
she's
either way,
a little pissed off right now. You know,
unclips himself from the metal bar.
and
That was an
better
interesting
to
experiment.
extricate herself from the situation before more shit gets said.
So her truck's old enough that it doesn't have an auto start. It doesn't have the keyless fob entry. She has to
Because
separate
he's a
key for
truck.
the door, separate key for the ignition.
He's not Clint anymore.
Now, truth be told, outside of her constant attention to it,
He smells fucking
most people
delicious.
wouldn't have been able to keep it running, nor running well as long as it has been.
It
Truck
is
is a sign
yet
of
to
He
be
was
seen how
supposed to be.
much blood is
investment,
coming out, though.
care,
She's
and
supposed to be
consideration.
sober. He ain't acting sober.
He approaches it. Is there anything that she's doing?
Yeah.
Like always, she, with
Yeah,
older
so here's
vehicles,
the
you always
thing.
want to go through and take a peek around and make sure that nothing's going to break down immediately upon driving away.
Indubitably.
He's already dead?
Yeah, he kind of got further. He got
Would you
further
be so kind
flattered by an angry
as
Nosferatu.
to roll your wits
So even if he was torpid,
plus drive
What do you mean, not that kind of
as
permission?
high as you can?
Woohoo! Aspects
If you're
have
you're
heightened
talking
sentence
about
counted.
destruction, I'm saying he's already dead.
No, because his diagnosis is there's nothing that's going to stand out. It
yeah,
literally
he
is
was
nothing that
quote
would.
unquote torpid when we got him, and then he was kind of
It's
further
not
fucked up by a
hidden so much
Nosferatu
as
that we
it's
were trying
part
to
of the
escape. So,
system.
like, he was
There is,
already dead.
like, no offense about it.
Dead.
There is something there.
I mean, if
Just
you want
to give
go
you all due
check.
heads up, the moment she starts her vehicle again, it's going to explode.
Oh, fuck. I literally
I
just
don't
messaged India that I was worried
really
about a car
give a
bomb.
shit. I'm going to give my
Not
friend
but
a
5
funeral the
fucking
only way that I
seconds
really
ago.
can.
All right, here's the thing. You want to go
She literally
test
is
it?
the fall person.
You should
There
test it.
is the hint now, like the hint
But
that she was given
If
in
you can
regards
somehow
to the
wake up
plan of her
that, he kind of points to
most
the armless corpse.
severe
Go
and
fucking do
emotionally
your thing.
damaged adversary she is the fall person. Her coterie fucked them because it's a good way to get back at her. When it didn't happen, or if it might not have happened, she still needs to get her comeuppance.
What do you need
He
for that?
literally lost an eye because of her coterie's actions.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
He literally
maybe
had to suffer through the embarrassment of that because of her coterie's actions. So he's
trap
okay with them
is
being harmed, especially because it's going to make it bad for her.
we are not supposed to
Using the
get
correct
rid of what's
channels,
left
the
of
correct
him.
codes, using the power of
I don't know. I don't
Regent
know.
I
Wolvern.
don't know.
Fucking magical bullshit. Look, Maddie,
Decisions were
if you
made,
can
even as
talk to
Regent
Clint in
Wolvern
some way,
didn't directly
or
make the decisions,
his
and there's no way to
spirit,
prove that
or
she
whatever the
didn't.
fuck that thing actually is,
As
if it's
it's
not
come
Clint,
through the
then
chantry from the
please
Imam all the way
figure
down
this
back
out for us.
to Maddie. It is, as far as
Or
she
you
is
gotta
aware,
go,
the
I don't know,
official
talk to some of your
standing
buddies.
of the chantry. The 1+1 that she figured out at the door is very 100% accurate. It is not a hypothesis.
Okay.
It is not just a suspicion.
Doctor,
What she figured out
hey!
at the door
I'm
of
not
the
putting
cabin
anything
is
in.
100%
India will grab the barrel
accurate.
that
You
he's
grab
in
it.
and lift it.
Yeah. Wait, whoa.
So as she
You
checks
don't have
her
to
feet,
fight for it.
and as always,
So
it
as
is
you all
perfectly
move
as
towards
it's
the fire
supposed
pit,
to be.
India, you haven't set down the gas can,
She unlocks the door,
which is filled with premium,
and Joji
high-grade,
and
unleaded
India settle into the
petroleum and
side room
petroleum-based
to converse.
products. In other words,
And
it's
as
just
Lita gives
gas
herself over to the
inside.
oblivion at the end of all things.
You both cross the distance from where you were
Anything that
standing
Annabelle
closer
is
to the building, putting you all further closer to the fire pit. Slightly closer to the fire pit, just a half step behind you all, is Annabelle. Closest to the building is Joji
Annabelle
and Lita,
is
for equidistant
going to get
from the actual
her
building.
purse
So as you all get
and
closer to the fire pit,
see if there's still
and
anyone
begin
in the mirror.
gathering the chunks and pieces and the smashed in and splattered portions of your former
'cause she
coterie
didn't
mate.
make that leap of logic.
Someone's iPhone or stereo comes on. There is a click, 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 click as the security lights on
Unless
the
there was
homes
a way for her
nearby
to.
come up.
Mm-hmm.
There's the beginning chords, the strings.
So imagine, if you will, I know you guys have all heard it. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. Being sung at a nice
Yogi's sprinklers
almost
go
baritone.
off.
We had
The scent of
joy,
kerosene
we had fun,
is not coming from the
we
gas
had
can in
seasons in the
India's
sun.
hands.
And Annabelle stares into
And
the space
Joji's
where memory
business
lives,
goes
where the heart of truth
on the
exists.
upbeat of bum 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 bum
Alina
bum
is seeing into the worlds beyond this one.
bum. The home
As Joji
that was his haven
in India
and place
settle
of business
into the space of the room to have a private
strikes
conversation.
and alights
And words
in this
beginning to
beautifully
tumble and stutter
almost
and
white,
fall over themselves.
hot pink, orange, and blue
And Maddie
flames.
sticks the key into her door.
Oh, fuck.
The old familiar.
You all are
creaks
unfortunately close
and
enough
strain.
to be bedazzled and almost blind, especially those with heightened senses, as the
Making sure that
building
the engine is
goes
where it's supposed
up
to be. Tires are full of
as
air.
promised.
She pauses,
As mentioned
key in
earlier.
the door, looking over the roof of the truck.
As the
watching
flames immediately
department
engulf the
rouse the
building, and you
cars
realize that the
parked along the side of the
kerosene being
road.
sprayed from
The
the
fire marshal brazenly
sprinkler
making
system
eye
for the
contact
lawn,
with Asher.
the
Him, his
fumes
lieutenant,
of which cause the
the
fire to grow
auto sheriff,
as if it is a demon
and Parrish,
arising from the skeleton and
trying
spine
to
of
have
bald
words with someone who's
mountain.
clearly outside of his jurisdiction. But because of his connection with
I'd like
the
to thank you all for a
community, feels
lovely
that he has the
episode.
power to do so.
And I'll see
And
you guys
Asher
next time.
smilingly,
Good night, everybody.
scathingly reading their rights. Because, well, yeah, it's true according to ordinances in Louisiana. On that side of Bethany. On this side of Bethany, we strongly believe that everything's bigger. And as he says so, he adjusts his robe so that the silk pants properly drape over his bigger and better. And the ordinances that you are citing are so very small, there's no way that it can contain anyone from Texas. And as decisions are made, as lines are drawn, as truth is sought, there are still decisions to be made and actions to happen. And with that song playing in the background, Seasons in the Sun, we had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode, and I will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Ew. Never before has your status of "it's a trap" been more accurate, Maddie.
Yeah.